Okay, everybody. We are going to be live, or we're live now, I guess. So, just going to make my stuff here. I think I had an incense going. It's still going. Okay. So, that being said, everybody, let's see here. Using the old iPad here to take notes. Basically, going to be doing some different stuff here, you know? I want to do something a little bit different. So let's go here. Okay. There we go. And I'm just getting my stuff ready, guys. Hold on one second here. There we go. And it is August 4th, so let's do that. August 4th. Okay. Then, let me do this, my friends. Let's do another one of these. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna do... Sorry, I know this is taking a second, you guys. I'm just setting the rest of this up. There we go. All right. And let's go here. Okay, so let's get started here. So I'm going to start shuffling the cards. We're going to see what we can do. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Should be able to. I'm hoping. Hopefully I don't sound too tinny or too, anything like that. So let's see what we can come up with here. Let's shuffle our cards. Hey MK, so they all do cost money on the questions. Just gonna put that out there right there. Hey Liz, it's $10 per question. I do spend quite a bit of time on each question though, so if that's something you feel comfortable with, understood, or if you don't feel comfortable with it, I can understand that, but I do charge. But welcome to the channel, MK. Let's do this here. You're very welcome, MK. Very welcome. I just want to be upfront and honest with people when they come by. Thank you, Liz. Let's get this going here. Let's get these shuffled a little bit here. Let's get this going. Oh, there we go. That was a good one. That was a good one. Okay, one more shuffle. Hey there, Rhubarb. How you doing? There we go. There we go. Nice little, I call them crispy shuffles when they go off without a hitch. They're crunchy shuffles when I have to stop in the middle and reshuffle. And there is a lot of crunchy shuffles, but we just keep going. We don't stop. I know I'm weird with the mic. I know I ask you guys. Does it sound okay? I feel to me it still sounds a little bit tinny. I need to change that, but yeah. Hanging on for dear life, but I'm making it through. Awesome. Good to hear, Rue. Good to hear, Rhubarb. Okay, MK says yes, so that's perfect. All right. All right. Clear. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Okay, so we're going to do the generals first. That's how we do it. So I'll just say it right now. For great car insurance rates online, go to the general and save some. No, I'm just kidding. We aren't doing that here. He's no longer a sponsor. Very abusive. Not a good person. I make horrible dad jokes, in case you were wondering, MK. They're the worst ones you've heard yet. I can say that with almost absolute certainty. Hey, Molly, how are you doing, my friend? All right, let's take a big drink of water. Big drink of water. And let's see what we can come up with. So generals, so here's what we do. So we're gonna do Thursday and we're gonna do Friday. Right? I'm glad you like the humor, MK. I don't know how to be any way else, so I'm kind of stuck with this. I am doing good, and I'm hoping everyone else is doing okay too. I really am. Let's do this here. Let's see what we can come up with. So we're going to do Thursday and Friday, so August 5th and August 6th. I'm not doing a reading for today because today, you know, it's kind of already happened. It's kind of close to ending. So I do Thursdays and Fridays. And then on Friday I do... My zodiac sign is Taurus, sun sign. I always get stuck on this. Taurus sun sign. Virgo rising and Aquarius moon. The Aquarius moon is because I'm eccentric as hell, so it kind of fits. It really does. What about you, MK? What's your zodiac sign? All right. So general readings here. Here we go. You are just fine, MK. Like I've always said, you guys talk in the chat. You're not interrupting. Talk to each other, talk to me, ask questions. I like having an active chat, so please feel free to talk, ask questions. And Rhubarb says Virgo sun, Aquarius moon, and Cancer rising. Virgo sun. Okay, so Okay, so you're Aquarius moon as well. That is interesting. And MK is a Capricorn. So hello, fellow Earth signs. Hello, fellow Earth signs. Yeah, go for it, MK. That's what this is all about. So now, I'm gonna sit. No, this looks kind of weird. This is actually kind of comfortable for my back. I'm trying to find a new way to sit. Problems of being a tarot reader, right? We have to invent new ways to sit that are comfortable for 5-hour periods. So, one more shuffle here. So we're going to do 2 piles for each day. Okay, you guys can pick the pile if you guys want to. We can do, we usually do 2 piles. So for Thursday, you guys can pick pile 1 or 2. And there's 3 cards in each pile. And generally, they kind of both come together to have a message. My 3 are Cap, Libra, Cap. Okay, and again, we're talking about this. So air and earth, and that's all there is, because that's how I am too. I've had my, what is it called? My natal chart done, I think it's the natal chart. And I am nothing but air and earth on every single sign, on everything, except I have like 2 degrees in Pisces on something and there's no fire at all. Okay, so the passion is dead, it's gone, it's over with. But you do get someone who's fairly level-headed, but spaced out most of the time. So that is me. Hello, my name's Chance. Nice to meet you guys. So let's see what we can do here on getting these done. So I'm probably gonna read pile 1 first, unless someone has an idea for something else. But we'll do pile 1, then we'll do pile 2. So this is for Thursday. Virgo / Libra cusp equals dust storm. And Rhubarb, like I said, I've said this a few times. A fart in the wind is the Virgo, not Virgo Libra cusp, but just air and earth is the fart in the wind. That's what I've always talked it out to be. So it's kind of like I'm there, but I'm not there for long. Hence the fart in the wind. All right, so our first deck here, we've got Angel of Strength. Okay. Okay, looks like the camera's focusing better. 6 of Coins. And then we have the Empress in reverse. I have to cover up my face for it to focus. Okay, so Empress in reverse. I'm glad you guys like the jokes. I'm glad. I'll have you know it never turns off. I'm like Chandler from Friends, but just not as friendly. So I'm air and earth. Glad I've got a Sag moon in between. Yes, the Sag moon, that gives you some fire. That gives you some of that oomph, right? But okay, so let's read these ones. Empress in reverse. The Empress in reverse is Taurus. Taurus is the Empress. When we're talking about the reverse, we're talking about the reverse of the Taurus sign. So we're talking about the more negative sides of Taurus, which, me being a Taurus, I'm going to say right now there are no negatives. So we're going to move on to the next card. We have 6 of Coins. No, I'm just kidding. The Empress in reverse is a card where we could be dealing with someone who is a Taurus individual, and they could be very stubborn. They could be a very, very stubborn individual that we're dealing with here. And this is something that, not trying to be a fart in the wind. We're all not trying to be that way, but sometimes it's impossible to not be. So we could be dealing with the stubbornness of someone, like someone who's being stubborn or obstinate in a way that does not make sense. We could be dealing with someone who is just stubborn for the sake of being stubborn, okay? And that kind of personality trait, that's difficult to deal with no matter what, but it's always that kind of situation where they're just being unreasonable in a way, and then you say, why are you being this way? What's going on? And then they just get more unreasonable. These are people that can feel attacked if we try to bring reason into the conversation. So these are people that could be upset over logical reasoning. Don't know what to do about that, other than, okay, you can be over there, I'll stay over here, I'll be going my way, kind of a thing. Because if someone wants to be unnecessarily stubborn, okay, can't do nothing about it. So yeah, absolutely. And generally, these are people that do not stand to reason. They just don't. And that's difficult to deal with, but it's also something where we can see where it's going. We can kind of understand what's going on, and sometimes we have to take off our blindfold, and we have to look at the situation for what it is. And sometimes the blindfold is much more comforting. We know what it looks like in the dark. We understand the darkness. So when light comes in, we almost view that as being invasive. We almost view truth as being invasive to our own core being, right? And so that's something that is difficult to deal with. Hold on here. They stole from me, but now they're trying to blame it on me. Insane. Yeah, I hear you on that. I hear you on that, Rhubarb. The gaslighting, right? The different ways the narcissist works in that kind of situation. I understand that. And that's some shitty stuff. And I'm sorry that's happened with you. Hopefully being on here, you can feel a sense of lowering your guard a little bit, understanding that this is a safe space. And, you know, I know that kind of stuff is difficult. And like I said, the light of truth can sting when we have been wearing the blindfold, right? And I can understand that, but it's good to be able to see things for how they really are. At least we have the perception, at least we have the self-awareness to see things for how they really are, and we're not deluded ourselves. So that's a positive right there. Okay, so the Empress in reverse, the 6 of Coins card right here, and then the Angel of Strength. 6 of Coins is waiting for our harvest to come in, or there could be something coming in for us, maybe something more financial, something coming in for us that would be good for us. So 6 of Coins is a card of harvest. The harvest is how I would view it, okay? So the 6 of Coins is a card where we're looking at kind of reaping what we sow, or we're looking at what's been going on in our life, and then we're collecting what's due from that, right? I'm thanking them for releasing me. I cry once in a while, but I keep calming myself by thanking them and myself for this release from a very toxic cycle. That's good, Rube. That's good. Ultimately, that's what you want to do. We want to cry. We want to be upset. We want to get that out of us so that then we can move on and we can start to feel other parts of our life and we can start to be more in tune. The fact that you're feeling something means you're present with yourself and your own emotions. That's huge. That's a hugely important thing to go for here. So that's something we can use going forward. Absolutely. And the Angel of Strength card here is definitely that situation. Nope, gotta cover my face. Angel of Strength card right here is definitely a card of, and I'll show you this card again just so you guys can kind of see the context of what it is I'm referring to. So we have the lion and we have the woman right here, okay? The woman's an angel, and so it doesn't quite interpret the same way as in the tarot deck, because in the tarot deck it's just usually a woman. But in this situation, the Strength card is a card where the woman and the lion are walking together. Generally, the lion does have a leash around its neck, but that's to show that the woman has control over the lion. She's not holding the leash tightly, and she's not yanking on the lion to get it back in its place. Instead, they're walking hand in hand, and she's trusting that the lion is there to protect her, and she's there to protect it. So there's that kind of strength, that symbiotic strength. And that's taking the emotional pain that we've felt and transmuting it into something greater. Transmutation being an alchemy term, we take the pain and suffering, and we turn that into love and acceptance for ourselves. That is it's not a cycle that you can just talk yourself out of. It's something you have to experience yourself to understand fully what's going on. But once we start on that path, things start to line up for us. And in the beginning, it is a painful path, but then things start to line up for us. We start to feel a sense of release, and we start to feel a sense of just sort of, like I said, being more present in the moment. If we've been in a situation where we have not been able to be present with ourselves or with the person we're with, once we start releasing ourselves and becoming more present in the moment, good things happen, right? So that's what I've got here. So definitely good. Hey, Casey Miss 7. Thank you for the donation. Hold on here. I'm using an iPad today to take notes. I'm really sorry if that's loud on your guys' end. It helps to wake me up if I'm falling asleep. So, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know why it's that loud. It's loud on my end. Anyway. Okay, so we have... Thank you again for the donation, Casey Miss. I don't think I've seen you on the channel before. So let's do this. You'll be first on the list here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's move on into this part here. We're doing generals first, and then after we do generals, then we're going to be going into the readings that are open format, where you guys can ask personal questions. I can help answer those. Hopefully me and my spirit team can help to answer those questions. Also, if you guys are having any physical ailments too, I'm going to put that on the table. We can do some energy work together and focus on helping people to feel better physically and maybe free some stuff up emotionally as well, because that's what my guides tend to focus on the most. I feel like one of my guides is a doctor. The other one is a philosopher who goes way above my head when it comes to philosophical concepts. I do not understand. I'm trying to... anyway, but the doctor one is the one we would be working for with that anyway. So, okay, so we're going to move on into this part here. So we're still doing Wednesdays or Thursdays general reading. Then I'm going to do Friday's general reading. And then after that, Oh, thank you, Casey. Thank you. I never used. Okay. Sorry, I never used the super chat before. I do not have the best relationship with technology. I wanted to post a question. Well, thank you so much. That's awesome. If you want, you can post your question now, and then when we're done with the generals here, it'll be another little bit. When we're done with the generals, then you're the first person on the list, okay, my friend? And thank you for the donations. You're awesome. Thank you. Hi, Manju T. How are you doing, my friend? Okay, I'm going to get into these generals here, you guys. So we're going to read this part here. Thank you, Jasmine. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll go here. And we'll do this. Thank you so much, Jasmine. You are next on the list after Casey. Okay, so we're going to be doing Casey's question first, and then we're going to be doing Jasmine's question. But right now we're doing the generals, and then from there we can do stuff. Don't know where I was going with that. From there, then the general questions. Okay, so Thursday's general part 2 is King of Swords in reverse. Okay. King of Swords in reverse, Four of Wands. And then all tied up in reverse. So there could be an Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini individual, and there could be the negative traits of Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini individual that we could be dealing with here. Again, this is for the generals. I'm not addressing any of the questions that have been asked or anything yet. So there could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius person. We're talking about the negative traits of the Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. So what that could mean is simply this. We're looking at someone who's very cold and calculating. We're looking at someone who doesn't really have the emotional center. They have that logical part, but they don't have the emotion. They don't have the feeling part down. And so they come across very stiff, very rigid people, and they're not in touch with themselves emotionally. So that's something that we're dealing with here when I'm talking about this. I am seeing here, though, that we also had the Four of Wands, okay? The Four of Wands is an interesting card here because it's showing that even though this person could be acting this way, right? I'm going to move my chair over so I'm in the center of the frame. Then we move this over. There we go. Okay. Just knocked my water over a little. So the Four of Wands indicates that even though we could have someone in our lives that could be acting negatively towards us, we could have someone who's acting cold and callous. And let's do this here. Okay. We could be having someone that's acting. No, I'm going to move this. I'm just going to move myself back a little bit. There we go. We could be having someone who acts very cold, very callous towards us. We're okay, though. What Christian does for living. Thanks. Okay, we can look at that and see what we can come up with. Okay, so Casey, Miss, your question will be noted. And when it comes to your guys' turn here in just a little bit, then we'll get that going. Thank you for posting your question, Casey, Miss, and we'll see what we can do. We have all tied up in reverse right here, okay? And if you'll notice in this card, okay, you'll notice it says all tied up. And you'll see that she's tied up, but she's not like... She's not tied up in a way where she's looking uncomfortable. She's tied up in a way where she could escape the binds, right? She could escape the rope when she would want to. Hey, Dee, how are you doing? And so to me right here, we could be putting ourselves in a situation where other people get to rule over us, or we could put ourselves in a situation where we have autonomy over ourselves and other people are not dictating our lives for us anymore. And I'm feeling like that's what's going to happen. I'm feeling like there could be something happening tomorrow with an air sign individual that even though they say something or they do something, we just say, okay, that's not a reflection of us. That's a reflection of you. That's what you're going through. Has nothing to do with me, right? If someone is looking to project on you, if someone is looking to project their own stuff on you, then know that that is their shit. That's their stuff that they have. Has nothing to do with you. A lot of the time, people are just angry. They're upset. And if there is someone in the vicinity, they will just cast. They'll just cast their, how would you say that? Their negativity on you, right? That's something they do. They put that on somebody else so that they no longer feel like they have to hold on to it themselves. Like I said, people that are not emotionally responsible, people that are not... Four Wands pile 2 resonates. Okay, perfect. So this is something here where emotional responsibility, we can have it, does not mean other people will. And I'm going to say this too, and I'm just going to throw this one out there because it comes up a lot. Just because you guys are good people does not mean another person is a good person. And I'm not saying that to be like the negative person. I'm saying that so that we have tempered expectations. Because we view ourselves as being someone who tries to be honest, someone who tries to be there, someone who tries to be that person, it does not mean that the other person that we could be in a relationship with will be that way. That's just, we wouldn't do that to somebody, but if somebody does that to us. So that comes from the people-pleasing mentality. We've talked about that a little bit. And so, okay, let's move on to Thursday here. I'll shuffle the cards. And Liz, the description I gave you earlier, did that help you? Because we were emailing, and I'm wondering if that description that I was giving you was helpful. Yes, Dee, I'm still doing questions. So I generally do these ones right here. So I charge, and you've already been on here before, but that's generally my going rate right there. But, and Liz, I want you to know that when I'm describing stuff, like anything, right, because I'm still learning myself, I don't have all the answers. That's why I use statements like I feel, and I use statements like, and this is talking about psychic ability, I use statements like I feel it's this way, or to me it makes sense like this. No, the list isn't closed, Dee. It's not closed. In fact, we've only got 2 people on the list right now. So I'm still doing the generals right now, so the list isn't closed, and I'm still going to be live for another 4 hours and 19 minutes. So, guys, do not have to worry about me staying around. I'm going to be here. I'm worried if you guys will stay, but I'll be here. Okay, let's shuffle these cards. Doing Friday's general reading, and then going to go to Casey's Casey's reading, and then we're going to go to Jasmine's reading. Do this here. Let's do one more. So it's $10 for one question, and I prefer Cashapp or PayPal usually. But it's $10 for the one question, and then we can go from there. I can't help if people come on and do super chats for a lower rate, but it generally is $10 per question. Okay. get these cards off. No, I don't do super chats. Not usually, but I probably can. But I'm starting to collect money, right? You can turn super hats off. I like super hats. I think that's funny. If someone wants to give me a super hat, I'll take it. I'll take it. We can do a few questions. Let's exchange super hats. I probably can, but I'm getting close-ish. I'm about 50% of the way there to reaching Google's payout threshold. So I'll just keep it going. Because even, I mean... Yeah, there's a way to do it, though. I forget you can turn super chats off. Okay, Manju, let me do this here. Let's see. Thank you very much, Manju. I appreciate that, my friend. Hold on one second. Perfect. Perfect. And that equals out to the $10, just in case you guys are wondering and thinking, you know, that does equal out to the 10. Okay, so Manju, you're... Let's see, hold on. Okay, so now we have this situation going. So we have, and put on that list, Liz, D donated. We can call her Dee Dee because I butcher her name in a way that it does not even make sense. I do not understand how to pronounce her name. I never will. And thank you very much, Manju. You're amazing. Welcome back to the channel, by the way, Manju. Let's see. Give me a second. And yes, you did, Dee Dee. So she's next on the list. She did donate for one question. Okay, so I got Manju in there first, and then Dee Dee, you came right after. I mean, you were pretty close to the same, but I'm going to put you right after Manju. So we have Manju, and then we have Dee Dee. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect, guys. All right. Gotta rub my eyes a little bit. That works too. Just D. I like it. That works. Okay, generals. Let's do this. I'll be quicker than a biscuit, you guys. I don't know what it means, but it sounded cool when I was thinking of it. So we're gonna go with it. All right. You guys wouldn't even know if my toenails were painted. I'm just gonna put that out there. You never see my toes, so you wouldn't know if they were painted or not, and you sure as hell wouldn't know what color. All right, so first pile, right here. So we've got, this is for the generals again, not addressing any questions right after these two piles though, then I'm addressing the questions. So generals right here, we have 7th chakra, Archangel, Uriel in reverse. Okay, then we have 7 of Swords. Then we have Justice. D will be back. Okay, don't worry about it, D. If for whatever reason you're not back or like something happens, don't worry about it. You get a refund for your money if that does happen, just so you know. So we have the Justice card here. We have the 8 of... There, we have the 8th card in the tarot deck here, the Justice card. Okay. Black or red? Well, you're never going to know. You're never going to know the color because I'm not going to tell you. They're purple, but not because I painted them. They're just naturally purple. So, all right. So we have the Justice card, 7 of Swords, 7th chakra, Archangel in reverse. So Friday. There we go. Rhubarb's wanting that refund. Well, you're going to have to wait, Rue. You're just going to have to wait. So we have Justice, we have Seven of Swords, and Seventh Chakra. So we could be looking at Friday, not feeling like we're connected to a divine source. We could be feeling a little bit of like, why is this happening? So we could have a situation happening that could be similar to a Tower card situation. So the fundamentals of something could become something that's crashing down. Okay, so there could be something at work that's happening, and it could feel like, oh, this is a dire situation, or there could be something in the house that needs your attention. These aren't bad things for us to focus on, but they're parts that help us to focus on the things to make them better, right? It's kind of like, imagine you go to the dentist, and even though your tooth isn't hurting, the dentist tells you you have a cavity, right? You have two choices. You can say, well, my tooth isn't hurting, so I don't need to have the cavity filled. Or you could say, well, you know, you did find a cavity. This sucks, but let's get the cavity filled in, and let's do that. And then after that, he checks your mouth to see if you have any cavities. But no, I'm just kidding. It's a really bad joke. Anyway, but what I'm saying is that if there is something going on, at a fundamental level that is wrong, it's good to know about it so that we can fix it rather than ignoring it, right? Okay, so, and the reason why I'm bringing that up, the reason why I feel like it could be kind of a bad day is because then we have the Seven of Swords, okay? Seven of Swords is a card that it's kind of like stealing something, right? Stealing our mental energy, stealing something. It could be physical as well, but it's something that is not very fun to go through. And it feels like things aren't necessarily going the way they need to go, but everything that's happening in our lives, it's happening for a reason, even if it doesn't feel like that at the time. I want you guys to know that we're here to experience life, and sometimes the experience, it's like a roller coaster. It goes up and down, it goes up and down. So sometimes we're on a downward spiral, and on the roller coaster, that's the funnest part. But in life, the downward part is not the funnest part, right? We want to be going on an upward kind of motion, an upward kind of track. And if we remain balanced, and realize that it's temporary, whatever it is that we're going through, we will be okay. But the temporariness, I want you guys to understand that the temporary part of life is the whole point of us being here. Nothing should stay the same. Nothing. As soon as things start staying the same, then we're no longer growing. And usually what that means is we are going to be uncomfortable. We are not going to be feeling up to it some days. But generally that means we're growing, we're evolving, or we're trying something new. So as long as we're changing, we're feeling that vulnerability, that's good. That's a good thing because it's going to help bring us that transformational energy that we need in our lives. Okay, so let's move on to the second pile here. And then right after we're done with this pile, like I said, we're jumping into the personal readings. So let's do this. Okay. Here we go, my little tater tots. We've got Six of Wands in reverse. Okay. Then we have Five of Cups in reverse. Okay. And then we have Anxiety upright. So this right here, this again is that Friday situation. So Friday is going to be a day that I feel like it's going to be a transformational day. And we can look at it one of two ways. Like I've been saying before, nothing in life is permanent. Nothing is. It may feel like it is. It may feel like life lasts a while, but nothing in life is permanent. So we have this situation here. We have the Six of Wands in reverse. We're coming out of a situation. We're coming out of something that could have been a darker situation. Things I feel like are starting to get better. Okay, so from the situation where we were going through a transformational process, I feel like as long as we stay with that kind of energy, we realize that this won't last forever. It may be annoying now, it may be uncomfortable now, it may be unpleasant now, but it won't last forever. Then we get the Five of Cups in reverse. The Five of Cups in reverse, this is an interesting card here. So Five of Cups in reverse is normally a card of like leaving, kind of just leaving behind what's not working for us. That's when it's upright. When it's in reverse, it could be sticking with something and seeing it through to the end. It could be having that kind of feeling. The anxiety card here, though, that is making us feel, I mean, obviously it's anxiety. It's making us feel uncomfortable. It's making us feel like things are out of control. But control is an illusion that we say things are in control so that we don't freak out. The ego wants to control, but the actual normal flow of life, there is no control. There isn't. So the best thing that we can do moving forward is to just sort of go with the flow. Just sort of say, you know what, life, if you want to do this for a minute, okay. And I know it's hard to go with the flow, especially if things feel like they're flowing in a bad way. But honestly speaking, the more we try to hold on to something, the less likely it is to stay with us. I view change kind of like this. Or I view holding on to life, holding on to, I want this to happen, but it has to happen this way. I want this to happen this way. I view that as something like this. Imagine that you're holding a bird in your hand, and you don't want that bird to fly away from you. And you're kind of insecure a little bit. You don't know what exactly you're doing. You don't want that bird to leave, and so you squeeze that bird tighter and tighter and tighter until it dies. And now the bird can't leave even if it wanted to. But we kind of strangled it. We took out what was there. And sometimes in life, we tend to strangle life to try and get more life out of it, but really we're killing it. We're killing the process of living, of being in a unique expression of ourselves, because it has to happen this way. We have to reach these milestones in order for us to be happy, and that is not the case. It may feel like that would make us happy, but what's really going to make us happy is that inner sense of knowing that, in my opinion, nothing is permanent, right? Okay. So let's move on to the personal questions here. See what we can come up with here. Okay. So our first question is with, let's go up here. Our first question is Casey. She would like to know what Christian November 7th does for a living. Okay. I'm going to put this out there right now. I'm still practicing as a psychic, so I'm still trying to understand that. So I'll do the very best I can with the information I have, and we'll see what comes up. So let's do this here, and let's see. And that's another reason why I do Cash App and PayPal only. If for some reason I'm not able to give you guys an answer to a question, that's going to be something where I can give you your money back if for some reason you're not satisfied. When you do super chats, I can't give you your money back. There's no way for me to do that. So I'm just throwing that out there, you guys. But I understand. I do appreciate the money regardless. I'm just saying I can't give you a refund if for some reason I'm not able to do something. Okay, so moving on here, let's try this. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, this one. All right, hold on a second here. Okay. So, Casey, are you there? Or is it Casey or Cassie? I want to make sure you're there, and then I want to ask you if I can connect with you psychically. Just because I feel like that's the polite thing to do in this situation. I always talk about not wanting to intrude on another person's space, and so that's why I ask permission if I can connect psychically. Because the equivalent of not asking is like just going up to a person's house and opening the door and just walking in, and I don't feel like that's appropriate. And if you're not okay with me connecting psychically, we can go with the cards and kind of see what we can come up with that way. So, take a drink here. Okay. All right, Casey or Cassie, I'm not sure. I'm saying the name right. Are you there? Your turn is up. Casey missed 7, or Cassie missed 7. Your turn is up. I'll give you another maybe minute to come back here. If not, I'll just move you down the list. You won't. Your turn isn't forfeited or anything. You'll just move down the list so that I can address the other person's question. So let's do this here. So pile 2 resonated again for you, Molly. That's awesome. I'm glad these are helpful. Okay, I guess we'll move down the list here. So, Jasmine, are you there? You're very welcome, Molly. I'm glad you appreciate the generals. I try to do that so that everyone can kind of be involved. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, Jasmine, so I'll go up and read your question again. You don't need to type it. Okay. You are here. Perfect. I'll go up and read your question again. You don't need to type it. Let's see here. Okay, so you're wondering if Daniel, you are wondering if Daniel, man, pretty sure his name isn't Daniel. You're wondering if Daniel's going to reach out to you again while you're in Ohio. So let's do that. Let's see. All right. Okay, yeah, I was just having a hard time saying that for some reason. Let's see. Will Daniel reach out to Jasmine while she's in Ohio? This time around. I say that because I don't want to leave it ambiguously open, because maybe it's the next time you're in Ohio there's a reach out. So will he reach out this time around? Awesome. Awesome, Manju. I appreciate that, my friend. That's really sweet of you. You can take this as an appreciation and an endorsement. I've had 2 readings with you, and you've been extremely good with your predictions. To the point, worked for me. Awesome. Love hearing that. Love hearing those good testimonials. That's my favorite. That's awesome. Okay, will Daniel reach out to Jasmine while he is in Ohio? Let's see. Okay, so I get these cards right here, Jasmine. I get 2 of Cups in reverse. Then I get Ace of Wands in reverse. And then I get the Hermit card. So right now I'm seeing that being a pretty big kind of, to me it's a no. Sorry, there's someone talking in the background here. So to me, I'm not feeling like Daniel's going to reach out at this point in time. Two of Cups in reverse. The Two of Cups normally is a card of connection and like more of an intimate connection, more of an emotional connection. When it's in reverse, it feels like something's missing here. When there's Ace of Wands in reverse, that also feels like there could be something missing here. Alternatively, and because I drew the Hermit card, which is a card of being alone, right? That's a card of not having something. Alternatively, there could be a situation where you do connect, but maybe it's not an emotional connection. Maybe it's like it could be like a one-night stand situation, or it could be something along those lines if there is a connection. So I'm not seeing that it would be a strong physical or a strong emotional connection. It would be more of a physical connection if this person reached out. But right now, the way I'm looking at the cards, it's not looking to me like the person's going to reach out. I'm sorry about that, Jasmine. You probably wanted a different answer, but I try to tell the truth with what I see. So hopefully that helped to answer your question. One second here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, again, sorry about that, Jasmine. You're very welcome, my friend. Have a good one, okay? And thank you again for the contribution to the channel. I appreciate it. Okay, for those of you watching now, if you wouldn't mind, if you guys are new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing the video to help the, to help the YouTube algorithm do better with suggesting this to more people. The more people we get coming on the channel, the more readings we can do, the more I can eventually do more stuff. I do eventually want to do more classes. I want to do things where we can teach psychic ability, we can teach a bunch of different things. And so you would be supporting that endeavor as well. Okay, so I'm going to go to Manju's question. So Manju, are you there, my friend? And hopefully I'm saying your name right. Okay, so Manju, here's what I'm going to do, okay? Your question's up next. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then when I come back, we can address your question. I've been having a lot of water. Okay, I've gone to the bathroom while I was talking, so man like pun. Mun. Oh, Manju. Manju. Okay. So Manju, hopefully that's how I'm saying it. Anyway, I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick. I will be back. And then we'll go from there. Okay. Give me 1 second, my friend. Hold your horses. Okay. So we're on to Manju's reading. After Manju's reading, then we will go back to maybe Casey's reading or Cassie 7. Just so you guys know, if you do pay, you leave for a second. I just cycle through, so I just put you further down the line, but I don't skip over you guys, so don't worry about that. Okay, so Manju, you said. So I'm going to ask you: is it okay, or yeah, Manju, is it okay if I connect with you psychically to work through this? Can't remember if I asked you that or not. And then we'll just kind of begin. Just going to move this over here. Hold on one second, guys. Sure. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's see what we can come up with here. Okay, so psychic impressions. Here's what I'm getting for you, Manju. So I get hearing and listening is the very first thing. So what your gifts are going to be, I feel like, compassion with hearing and listening to other people, trying to understand other people's stories, and trying not to silence other people if they say something that may not be in line with what you think to be true. I feel like you're someone who's objective and who wants to hear truth from other people. You can understand the passion behind it, and you can understand that people have a different way of believing and that you are not going to be affected if someone believes differently than you. So that I feel is a very good thing. It feels almost diplomatic in a way. The other one here that I'm getting, and I'll go into more depth here, but the other thing that I'm getting here is a spark of inspiration. So this to me happens kind of randomly, but I feel like there's this surge of energy that kind of, it presents itself in more of a physical way now, but it feels like there's a sense of spiritual energy with this too, where, again, so when we talk about inspiration, I want you to think of how that word is spelled, okay? Inspiration, right? So inspiration, in spirit. That's what I feel like is going to be your thing. I feel like you help, like you came on here, you help to inspire me. You help to inspire my channel. You help to inspire this. And because of that, I feel like that's something you can give. You can be inspiring. You can give compassion to people. You can help people that have not been helped in their life. I feel like you have a sense of giving people hope in a situation that could be hard for them to deal with. But there's a sense of easiness. There's a sense of like a breeziness with you, like a sense of just letting things flow. So that to me would lend really, really, really well to the healing arts. Because you're not someone who's stuck on the ego side of things. You're not someone who has to prove themselves to be right, or you're not someone who has to go out there and flex your own egoic muscles, so to speak. The ego is great in balance. The ego is great. When the ego is not in balance, it's a no-go, Chief. Okay? So what I'm feeling here would be primarily the hearing and the listening. Okay, and that could also be part of your gifts as well. So if you develop psychically, you could have something where we're hearing voices or we're hearing things coming to us, and that usually comes through for people that have a gentle heart and are open to hearing things. Okay, so that's something right there. So Manju, so far, what are you feeling with that? I just want to make sure. I don't want to run over your kind of vibe here. So Okay. So how do we take something? I'm going to go out on a limb here, Manju, and say this. When people say you're too giving, you're empathetic, it's almost like they mean it as an insult, but it's not. It's not an insult. It's being compassionate. That's the word I would use. Maybe it's like being an agony aunt at times. I've never heard agony aunt before, but I think I understand. I think I understand what you're saying there. You do love to listen to people. Okay, so that's going to be where the abilities lie. So whatever it is we do, or whatever it is we're drawn to in life, that's going to be our soul expression. So I want you to take that, whatever it is we're doing, I want you to amp it up to 10. That's our soul expression. Okay, so it generally means this. I do enjoy listening to people too, and I enjoy helping people. And because of that, there's psychic abilities, there's different things. And you can develop these abilities. So the important thing, though, is to exercise the spiritual abilities that we could have, or the way we would want to use them, or the way we would want to have them. So the hearing part is a big part of it. And I keep saying hearing, I keep bringing that up because that's a main skill for you. It's being able to listen. So if we open up our psychic abilities, we would be able to hear things. The more we focus on allowing ourselves to hear things, the more we're able to interpret information. The more that we don't get lost in the way we hear things, or we're in the present moment when we hear things, right? Something gets our attention, we focus on it, we listen to it. I feel like if we take that and we go forward with it, that's going to be good. I am sorry, there's someone talking in the background here. Okay. Reiki's good. Reiki is good. Any kind of energetic practice is going to be a good practice to get into. Reiki for me, I'm technically certified as a Reiki master or whatever, but I don't feel like you necessarily have to learn Reiki, right? You can learn any way that you want to learn. Reiki is just more structured, but it also costs quite a bit of money to learn. And I feel like it's a powerful modality. I do feel like it's a powerful modality, but think of other places maybe if it's too expensive to learn, because I do know that it is expensive. So I would say there's other things we can learn. Healing is healing regardless if you feel like you need to, or healing is healing regardless. Okay. With Reiki healing, if I'm not mistaken, you have to learn a modality first to do long distance healing. Otherwise it won't work. That's what they tell you. And I could be wrong with that, but I feel like I remember learning that you have to learn how to do. And I've been doing that without having Reiki, without doing anything. I've been doing that since I was 17. I did Reiki. I learned Reiki as a modality, as a way to learn it. But it has in no way, shape, or form made me think, oh, Reiki, that's the only healing modality there is. There's so many ways we can do it. Like I said, Reiki is just more structured. It's like the Gucci of healing, if you think of it that way, or the Louis Vuitton of healing. So you can learn that, absolutely. But if money is an object, there's other ways we can learn healing. One of the ways we can learn healing is to kind of dive into our senses. That's going to be the main thing moving forward that we can do. If we dive into our own senses, we activate our own psychic abilities, and healing is a psychic ability. Energy healing is absolutely a psychic ability. I mean, you could say whatever you want, but to be able to go through someone else's pain, to be able to feel it, that's going to be the important part moving forward here. So, okay, healing, definitely. Inspiration, definitely. When I'm connecting with you, we're doing the psychic thing right here. I'm feeling inspired. I'm feeling a lot of strength from you. A lot of a kind of energy that makes me think that encouraged, I guess, would be the word that I would say. It's this strong, encouraging feeling that I'm getting, and that's going to be an awesome thing moving forward. It's kind of like you could give someone bad news, but in a beautiful way. And that's the whole point when we're doing psychic work, when we're doing other kinds of work. is sometimes there is a message that's particularly hard for someone to hear, and you need to deliver it in a soft way. And I feel like you would be very good at that. I feel like you would hold a person's hand through that kind of process. Now, can we be too empathetic? Can we be too into that? Absolutely. Everything in life has a balance. Absolutely everything has a balance. If we are too empathetic, we tend to lose ourselves in other people, and we almost become codependent on other people, right? Because if we're too empathetic, we lose our own sense of identity. And when that starts to happen, we no longer know who we are. And then resentments can form, and a lot of things can happen in a spiritual way. So we need to work on not absorbing everyone else's energy. At times, we need to just focus on our own. Okay, I use this analogy all the time. Okay, and hopefully this helps you. You have two, I'll lower the brightness here. You have a way of understanding, hopefully this makes sense. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. There's a sponge, right? The sponge is meant to do what a sponge does. You drop it in water, it absorbs the water, right? The empath is the sponge. Now, that being said, if the water is very dirty, it's very awful, dirty water, other people's energy, things you're not having there. Hey D, how you doing? Your reading's coming up next, unless Casey gets here. Then I'm gonna read her, and then it'll be your turn. So I'm reading for Manju right now. Manju, hopefully I'm saying that. Okay. But if the sponge gets into water and that water is dirty, the sponge doesn't care. The sponge just absorbs the water. And as an empath, that's what we do. We absorb energy. And at first, when we don't know how to absorb energy the right way, we take on other people's energy and we say, well, this is mine now. Because our aura needs it. Something's going on. There's like a deficiency. So we can actually work on building up boundaries. We can work on building up. Right, correct. You usually end up absorbing other people's energy. So when we're talking about developing abilities, especially healing abilities, psychic abilities, we need to go at this from a place of just not absorbing, but observing people. So not absorbing, observing. And that's going to be something. Okay, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how to release. We'll talk about how to do this. First thing, Manju, the first thing that's going to help you more than anything else is going to be boundaries. And I know that sounds lame. That's probably not what people want to hear. Everyone wants to think it's a spiritual concept, so you have to have spiritual abilities. No. Boundaries are going to be the very first thing you can do. The reason why we struggle empathetically and we absorb other people's energy as empaths, in my personal opinion, is because we are people pleasers, and we tend to think that other people know us better than we know ourselves, and we tend to bend over backwards. We tend to do so much for other people and not get hardly anything in return. That's kind of the energy we're going here. Boundaries are going to help us to make it so that doesn't happen anymore. We don't want to go to an event. If someone invites us somewhere and we don't want to go, we say, I don't want to go. I don't want to do that. If people want to take that the wrong way, that's on them. It has nothing to do with you. That's on them projecting. But boundaries are going to make it so that you understand where you are at in your own soul. You understand your own energy when we set boundaries. You don't want to go to that event? You don't have to go, right? It's one of those things, and if someone asks you why you don't want to go, you just don't want to. Or in this case, if you need to make up a lie or an excuse to get out of it, do that too if it's uncomfortable to do that, because you should be able to have autonomy on if you want to go somewhere or not. But honestly, eventually you want to get to a point where if someone says, hey, do you want to do this? And you don't want to do it, you just say no and leave it at that, because people don't need to know your reason. They'll think they need to know, but no, nobody needs to know besides you. So boundaries are the first step towards developing these abilities. Energy healing is different, where you don't need to have boundaries for it, but trust me, 1,000% over, you're going to want to have it, because as we're going into the empathic nature, when we do energy healing, we're no longer empaths. It's kind of like we're empath 2.0. We're no longer just feeling energy. We're starting to heal issues. We're starting to heal problems. And sometimes we can take on those issues ourselves in a very real way. Our energy becomes intermingled with theirs because we don't know where we start and they end. And that makes it difficult for us to understand. So boundaries establish a strong emotional resolve for us to not fall into another person's way of being. A boundary, so that sponge we were talking about, absorbing all that water, now the sponge has a bubble around it. So when it goes into someone else's water, it just sits on the surface, and that bubble that's surrounding the sponge, that barrier, makes it so you don't dive any deeper. You see what's going on with the person, you understand what's going on with the person, but you are not struggling with the same issues that person is struggling with because it doesn't help, okay? And I'll give another example here. How would you help someone? Perfect, you're learning to create boundaries. Perfect. So how would you help someone if they were drowning, okay? If they're drowning and they're kicking around and they're going like this and they're going crazy, how would you help someone in that situation? You have a couple of choices. You could bring a boat that you absolutely have in your possession. You could bring a boat over and pick them up and get them out of the water, or you can swim right over to them, try and help them. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They drag you down too, and now both of you guys are drowning, okay? So you don't want to get into the muck and the mire that the person is experiencing. That does not help them. Instead, we need to be on common ground, and we need to lift the person up to our level, not go down to theirs, because that does not help them. For instance, I'll give another for instance here. If someone lost a loved one and I'm doing a mediumship reading and I'm trying to bring through messages for that person, if I start crying and becoming inconsolable while I'm doing that reading for that person, that doesn't help the person. You can feel the emotion, you can understand there's emotion there, but me being in an emotional state when someone is depending on me for a message at that point in time does not help that person. There's ways that we can observe another person's emotion and not take it on ourselves. Okay, so Manju, is that making sense so far? Yes, okay, perfect. So then you're understanding what I'm saying. So boundaries, absolutely true. Perfect. So boundaries are the way that we expand our psychic ability, because when we're talking about psychic ability, we're talking about the self, or the soulf is what I would call it, the soul self. And when we're talking about that, we're not talking about anything else other than your expression of yourself. And the only way that your expression of yourself gets stronger is when it is more defined. And we define ourselves by boundaries. We define ourselves by saying what we don't want in life. Because by saying to the universe what we don't want in life, we're also attracting the things we do want in life. We're creating scenarios in which we see what we don't want, compare it to the things we do want, and then we take the path of the things we want more of in life. And boundaries give us that opportunity to pursue the things that we do want. So hopefully that helps give some information there, Manju, and hopefully that helped answer the question. So healing is going to be the place where I feel like you should start. Boundaries is good. I'm going to be doing a class in, well, I'm not sure. Haven't contacted him yet, but I'm going to be co-teaching a class with my mentor, and we're going to be doing a class together. It'll be $40. It'll be over 2 days. So it'll be just 2 days. It'll be one weekend, and we'll talk about how to develop psychic or mediumistic abilities and how we can focus on that. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go to my website. You can sign up. It doesn't cost anything right now, but you can sign up for it and then just put your email there and everything, and I will email you along with everyone else that's signed up when the course becomes available. So if that's something you're interested in, you can do that. It's $40. It's not too expensive. And like I said, it's just one weekend. And we'll be doing a Zoom call, and you'll have partner exercises and stuff like that too. So it'll be a teaching experience, and it'll be a learning experience for, well, just for people, for everyone there. Okay, hopefully that helps address that. D, your question. What was your question? Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Just go to the website, go to my website, should be in the description, and then link down there. The link will be at the top of the page, of the home page. Or if you're on your phone, you just hit there's like a dot icon, and then there should be a tab called classes, and it should guide you through everything. Okay. So I want to know what next career move my BF should take. Okay, so D, before we even do anything here, and we will absolutely address, we'll go into some more information. Before we do anything here, though, the fact that he's asking you what he should do, if he should move on or if he shouldn't, right? And he's asking you, his partner, I'm thinking there's one of two things that's happening. Maybe it's a good paying job and he doesn't know what to do, but he feels trapped in that job. Or maybe he just doesn't know where to turn, but he's starting to feel like he doesn't want to be there anymore. Either situation in this case, it feels like to me that he doesn't want to be where he's currently at. And it's not a question of, should I choose this or that? It's a question of, where should I go? That's what I'm feeling with that question. It's not like should I stay here or not? It feels to me like he's already thinking about leaving, right? If he's bringing it up, something must have happened to make him think, I need to leave. I need to go somewhere else. Am I wrong? Am I right or wrong in saying that? How do you feel about that situation? And I'm just saying this. If it is the monetary thing, I can understand that, but we'll discuss this, okay, my friend? And answer that if you don't mind for me, and then I will be right back. Okay, D, that makes sense. I can completely understand that. So that's something that can be difficult, right? That being said, we're moving towards, I'm going to do the energy oracle cards and kind of see what comes up, but we're moving towards what's called a gig-based economy. And what that means is that people are looking to get their service requests met through peer-to-peer finance systems. So generally what that means is that, for instance, people will no longer stay in hotels. They choose to stay in Airbnbs, which are owned by ordinary people. People will no longer ask a big corporation for something. Instead, they'd want to reach out on Fiverr or another gig-based website to get something done. So right now, people have the economy in their pocket. But what is it that we can do? Can we do graphic design? Absolutely. Can we do things like that? 100%. But it's finding that niche, finding our passion that's going to be the hard part. And for men especially, I feel like finding our passion is difficult because sometimes the emotions block the way towards us finding what we really like about things. Does he do anything? Does he do any? Well, let me ask you this. So, D, can I connect with you psychically? Would that be okay with you? Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right. So the first thing I'm thinking is, and I'm just going to throw these two out there. I'm new to this. I'm new to this psychic stuff, especially when it comes to jobs, and especially when it comes to that kind of stuff. So you're allowing me to practice. So view this as a practice, and I'll give you the best answer I can with this. So the first two things that came up, right when you said yes, I felt something to do with photography, and then I felt something to do with cooking or being a chef or doing something where I don't know if that's a creative direction this person would maybe want to go in, but that to me was something that came up in my mind. So that was the first two things that I had, photography or possibly the chef thing. Let me do this here. Is he doing something right now that's more like, is it a cubicle job that he's in now, or what is it that he's doing now? Probably not something creative, I would imagine. Or maybe he wants to do something more creative. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. Hmm. Did something happen to his hands or something? Before you said anything about him being hurt, I saw hands. So I'm wondering if he had a hand or wrist injury, or what was it, if you don't mind me saying. And then the word divorce came up, but I don't think it means necessarily relationship. It could just be divorcing from a situation that's no longer serving him, but that did come up and I did see the hands, and so no foot. I assume you're saying his foot was hurt, not that he has no foot. I'm sorry. I'm a smartass. Okay, so his foot got hurt. Okay. And a lot of times when we're injured or when something happens, we tend to think about things, right? We tend to have that moment of thinking about things. Okay, so let's shuffle some cards here and see what I can get. I'll still be connected psychically, but let's see here. Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, Dee's boyfriend. Hopefully everything's going okay with you, my friend. Perfect. Okay. We'll see what we can come up with. I'll move this over here just for a second. Hey, Sneha Degar, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Welcome to the channel. I do ask for $10 for one question, $25 for three. So if that's something you feel like you can do, go ahead and do that for me, my friend, and you'll be put on the list. But I do charge for my readings. Okay, so D, let's see what we can come up with here. Okay, come on, come on. I don't feel like it's quite time yet. Okay, we had one card come out. I'm going to give another one here, or a few more. Hopefully your foot gets feeling better, my friend. Sorry to hear that happened. Strategy. Okay, so right now, this is going to be an interesting time. We'll go more into stuff here, but what the cards are saying, I feel like this message needs to be said, okay? So, no, Sneha, I don't do free readings. So we have Angel of Love. I'll say this, Sneha, right now, just so we're clear, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to do this. If you're coming on here and you're asking me how he feels about you, odds are that's probably not the relationship for you. I'm just going to say that because you should be able to go to him and ask him how he feels about you instead of coming on here to me and asking me how he feels about you. You should be able to talk to him about this. And that's some free advice right there. That's just right there. So hopefully you can take that and do what you want with it. Okay, so we have Angel of Love, okay? We have Strategy in reverse. And then we have the Sun in reverse. So the Angel of Love, we're working on, at this point in time, your boyfriend. He's going to be working on hopefully self-compassion, being gentle with himself, and hopefully not putting too much pressure on himself to have to perform or have to do anything. That's going to slow down the recovery process. That's going to slow everything down. We tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves in these kinds of situations, and especially if we're a man, we tend to think we have to do it all and we have to do it now. And so there needs to be a sense of self-compassion here, and there needs to be a sense of inner gentleness moving forward through this. Because we don't get anywhere by forcing it. I always say, if you force a fart, nothing good can come of it, right? Forcing farts, hopefully you guys can understand what I mean by that. Poop in your pants. So we're not going to do that part. Now, this part here, we have Strategy in reverse. We have the Sun in reverse. Strategy in reverse, Sun in reverse. What does that mean? Literally, this is saying the situation. This is saying the strategy, the things I wanted to do, the things I wanted to go about to do, we're not able to do. We're not able to have a strategy right now. And maybe that creates a sense of anxiety, a strong sense of anxiety. Who am I? What's going on? How can I perform? What can I do to get where I need to be? The Sun in reverse is showing that even though the situation right now is not a happy one and it makes us feel uncomfortable, possibly vulnerable, the Sun in reverse is still a good card. The sun upright is a card of like enthusiastically, yes, like embrace it, do what we need to do. The sun in reverse is still a positive card. It's saying that right now times can be difficult, but it won't always be difficult. I feel like there's something lying just beneath the surface of this kind of situation, right? And when we get these kinds of questions like, what should I do for a job? What should I do, right? In general, I'm going to kind of throw that question back and I'm going to say, if money was no object, what would it be that you would want to be doing, right? So, D, can you ask him, if money was no object, if he could do anything, what would it be? For me, I'd be a professional sleeper. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I can get 40 winks in 30 seconds, so I'm pretty talented at that. See, and that's not right either. That's not right, and that can shake the confidence too, and I'm sorry that happened. That's shitty. That's a shitty situation. Shav gave him false hope for new. That makes sense for the sun and the strategy in reverse. That makes tons of sense. Giving you something and then taking it away. And during that process, this is the only card that's upright. That angel of love, that gentleness with the self is going to be something that's going to help us more than anything. Realizing that we weren't the ones at fault. We were not the ones at fault. Something happened to us, and it's our job to deal with the damage that's happened to us, but we weren't the ones that caused this to happen. I want that to be made clear, that companies can sometimes just be incredibly shitty and not care as much about their workers as they say they do, and that is also a shitty situation. Take another drink here. Oh, okay. So he doesn't have any idea, right? He's not sure what he'd do. Okay, I understand that. So when we're in this moment of kind of, how would I word this? He just wants some direction. Okay. Well, let me give you this as an example. The reason why I'm asking so many questions is because some direction is great, but your direction would be better, right? When we don't know ourselves, like this could be an inward journey. This could actually be something positive where we get to know ourselves better. We get to understand things better because of what's happened. If he goes in some direction, he could still be going in the wrong direction. It could literally just be another company. The same kind of situation happens because we haven't found that purpose. We haven't found the call yet. So if there's hobbies, if there's interests, that's why I'm asking. Like, what do you like to do? What are things that you enjoy doing? That, and then if we can stay at the same job and kind of work another job into it or work another passion project into something, that's going to give us a direction here. But let me try and do a little more psychic work and see what we can get, okay? Because I do want to give you some answers here, but okay, so let's see here. The first thing that I'm feeling here, I'm wondering if we're wanting to do something that would be without a company. Maybe where we're doing our own work, we're being our own boss. I'm wondering if that's something that maybe we would want to be doing. Just because it feels like other people could screw us over. So maybe if we did something where we were a lot more independent, that might be something that would be better. Are we wanting to work for a company, or are we wanting to do something where something more independent? Either. Okay. Okay, have we ever thought of doing, there can be doing something with real estate. That can be something that we can do. Working with technology can also be another thing we can do, like just doing anything like photography is good. Anything like that in the creative realm would be a positive direction to step in. But I know being a property manager or doing real estate, things like that, that can be a sense of independence. You still work for a company, you can make money, but you're helping other people find their dream home. So that could be something. That could be something right there. The other one that's making me think right now is, so I get the bandage on the heart was something that I saw. So this thing that happened, I'm feeling like the pain, I'm feeling like there's more pain from emotionally than there is from the foot, right? It just feels like there's that sense of being lost, that direction has been skewed. And generally speaking, when we're talking about this, we're talking about the solar plexus, our will, right? The fire chakra. We're talking about that kind of getting snuffed out. So you're wanting to find a direction, you're wanting to find a purpose. I get that. But while you're doing this process, it's important for you to realize that you're much more than just your job title. And I know that men, myself included, we tend to define ourselves by our job title, or how much we're bringing in, or if we can do this, this, or this. There tends to be an over-identification with the job. We put the job as being our purpose in life, and it's the only thing besides family that matters, or besides a girlfriend or a wife that matters. And I feel like there can be a little too much importance put on that. That being said, if we can do something where we're working and we're doing something that's not as taxing, right? And I'm feeling like the technological aspect of it would be something good, right? But I also feel like the real estate, doing something like that would be a good move. Maybe moving into something where the job doesn't feel like we're just crunching numbers. Maybe we go to school for something else. And going to school, I know that costs money, and I know that can take time to do something, but there could be something there as well. Primarily, and I'm going to ask again, D, what does your boyfriend do for hobbies? Or what does he do? What is he interested in? Can be anything at all. Can be anything at all. And then I can kind of go in some directions there. In this kind of scenario, if I connect psychically, right? I'm tuning into him. I'm tuning into his energy. But if he doesn't know what he wants, gym and music. Okay. So if he doesn't know what he wants, then I don't know what he wants either. But gym and music, that's a good one. That's good right there. So, hold on. So could we do something where we're a fitness instructor? Is that something that could happen eventually? I understand there's a foot injury now, but could there be something where we could become a certified fitness instructor, or where we could become a nutritional person, someone who helps people with nutrition? Possibly. Again, I know you're going through some different things, but being someone who helps people at the gym, if you enjoy doing that, that could be something moving forward. Again, the injury does kind of limit that for a second. Music is really good too. We could do something where You can create music, you can do a bunch of different things to make money, but but there's two kinds of people. There's people that listen to music, and then there's people that create music. So it depends on if you're someone who really enjoys listening to music or if you're someone who creates their own music too, right? And so either one of those is kind of a passion. It's a hobby, it's an interest. And the way we turn a passion or a hobby or an interest into a job is to do what we love doing without the expectation of earning money. And I know that sounds backwards. I know that sounds like that wouldn't be the way to go. But when we're talking about inspiration, as soon as we put a dollar sign in front of it, it tends to go bye-bye. It tends to take the bus out of town for us, and we can't quite catch it. So we need to do something with the intention of not necessarily doing it for money. We're doing it for practice. We're doing it to get better at the craft that we love to do, and that's something we can do. So you can look at the gym, you can look at fitness as a possible fit, like I said, but there's a lot of ways that you can make, we can make money besides that. So, and there's tons of ways online you can do things with money too nowadays. You could, well, you could buy a website and then make money off of Amazon FBA stores, right? You can make money off of Amazon. You have to put down a principal amount first, and it can be kind of expensive. If you guys have money you can invest in, buying websites is a good way to make money. If, again, you have to do research, you have to understand the market, what's going on. Stick with, if that's something you're doing, if you're going with the Amazon way, stick with products that are not trends. If you're going to buy a website, you're going to do something like that, stick with products that are not trendy products. Okay, we're not talking about fidget spinners. Stick with websites that are built off of selling products that will always be around. For instance, everyone's always going to have a bathroom. Everyone's always going to be having kids, so diapers, things for the kitchen, cookware, tools, things like that. Those things will never go out of style. Those will be there for as long as people have kitchens and bathrooms. So if you're looking at website investing, that's something to do as well. It really depends. If you guys have money that you could put into something, then I would say the online is something good to do. And generally you see it all written out right there. You can go with Empire Flippers or Flippa, empireflippers.com or flippa.com. And you can make money doing that. Again, you kind of have to have money to make money with it, but that's an area of interest if you guys are looking to make some money. You have different areas you can go into as well. You have passion projects, like I said. So if we're doing something with music, or if we're doing something like that, we can upload things on YouTube. We can do things through the internet that is helpful. But the main thing that you can do is if you just start doing it. I know that sounds backwards too, but if we just start doing things and we don't necessarily care about the outcome, we're allowing ourselves to experience what it would be like to have that as a job. And even if we don't think we would like it, what is going to happen is the more things we try, and this is important, okay, D and D's boyfriend, the more things we try, we're going to realize what we do and do not want. And so the more things we can try, almost look in a book and try different things, see what resonates with you, see what you like. And then once you found something, then you can go on it from that perspective. But I'm hoping that helps answer that question. I know it wasn't anything super concrete, but that could be some areas you could go into. You have fitness, you can do investing. Like I said, websites for me, that's something that I'm going to be doing here in not too distant future, hopefully. And okay, so if he's worried about his finances, that makes sense too. That makes sense. So is he being kicked? So is there a fear here, if I can say it? The company offered these other positions and stuff like that, and then they took them back. Is there a fear here of losing the job entirely because the company changed they changed their mind? Is there kind of a fear? I'm wondering, is he wanting to get out before they fire him? Is it kind of that situation? Does he feel threatened in that scenario? Okay, I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. And I would feel like right now would be kind of torturous for this person to go through because mentally, again, they want to provide, they want to be in that role, and I can understand that. So the gym and music. The gym is it's kind of off for a minute because there's that injury. But that's going to be something you can start. And I feel like when we're talking about doing something fitness wise, if you love the gym anyway, working at one, I feel like would be the best of both worlds. You get to be in the best shape of your life. You also get to help other people and inspire them. Hopefully. I don't know if you're a people person. Sometimes I know people that work in the tech industry can be more independent, right? So they might not necessarily be people, they might not be that person that can get people interested, but we need to try something different because what we're doing now isn't necessarily bringing us what we want. You're worried about, it sounds to me like you're worried about a job. You're worried about losing a job that promised you something and then they took it back and then there's a fear there. So we're kind of worried about the fear of losing a job. So there's a few layers there. And I feel like the best thing to do moving forward would be to do a preemptive strike. If you can, look online, look on YouTube on jobs you can do online. Don't fall for anything that's like do surveys, earn money. Don't do anything like that. There's ways you can make money. There's ways that we can do stuff online. But it has to be something where we need to be dedicated and we need to learn. So there might be a lot of reading involved, there might be a lot of learning involved. But I do believe you can make some money. And if you're worried about the finances, and I can understand being worried about your finances, the best thing to do is to stay with in my opinion, best thing to do is to stay with the current job you have now for as long as you can. And in the meantime, be looking elsewhere and be putting resumes out there. Be working at this job now, but be actively looking, putting resumes out there, and allow yourself the comfort of knowing that you're looking. And opening a business is good too. That's good too. That's what I was saying. You can do an entrepreneur stuff, right? You can start your own business. You can be a fitness instructor. There's so many things you can do. We are moving into a gig-based economy. So people, there's a chance it might not go good, right? There's a chance it might not, but there's also a chance that it might, or it will. When I started my channel, I didn't know it was going to be, I didn't know I could make money off of this. I didn't know I would be successful. But if you guys understand how you can do it, then you can go from there. So you're saying, or opening a business. So D, when you say opening a business, do you have a business in mind? Is there something in mind with that? There you go. Nutrition store would be a good idea. That's perfect. That goes right in line with the fitness instructor as a possibility. And I mean, you can do more than one thing. For instance, I think a fitness instructor, possibly. I know you have to go to school. I know you have to learn things. But I think if you did a fitness instructor and then you also had a nutrition store, or you did things on you could promote your store in different ways, you could try different things. But I understand there's a fear of failure. But right now, D and D's boyfriend, D and D's DBF, right? Right now, it sounds like you're scared no matter what. And at least if you opened a store or you tried to do something, you would be scared that the store would fail, but you're still taking a risk. You're still trying something. Instead of thinking this company can cut me off at any time and I can lose out, you would be opening something up, and yeah, it could fail, but it could also not fail. And you guys can go from there. Whatever happens, I feel like you guys could handle it. But right now, this store has a guillotine or not the store, the company has a guillotine that's above your head, and you don't know if it's going to come down or if it's not. And that to me sounds like more of a hell to live in than trying something and seeing where it goes, right? That to me would be the situation where I would look at it and say, what's more uncomfortable, doing something or not doing something, right? So, I mean, that's how I see it, right? And a lot of this is more me just talking to you guys. It's not from a psychic perspective, but I've struggled with the same kind of things. Like, what could I do? What could I be? What is something that I could do as a job, as anything? I mean, I'm 32, right? And this for me is like basically I've worked other places, but this is my first real job, something I would call my first real job. And I'm learning how that works. I'm understanding it. Now, would it suck if this failed? Yeah, absolutely. But I could work with that. I could learn from it, and I would hopefully pick myself back up and try something else. The fear of failure means, in my opinion, if you have a fear of failure, keep walking, keep going in that direction. There's two fears. There's the fear of failure and there's the fear of success. Both of those fears stem from the same thing, the fear of change. And with the fear of failure, there's a fear of kind of staying the same or even regressing, right? And with the fear of success, there's a feeling of gaining something or, moving forward in life. But I feel like ultimately, if you took that in your hands, I feel like that would be something positive, something good for you guys. Hey, Amber, how you doing, my friend? Happy Wednesday to you. So there's definite ways that you can move forward with this. Opening a nutrition store, that's something that's going to take some effort. That's going to take some time. But I feel like depending on how you guys do it, you could do a really good job with that. My thing, what I would do, you open a nutrition store, and then, okay, hear me out, right? My idea is simple with this. You open a nutrition store. When you open a nutrition store, the first day, or the first couple of days, you take $1,000 or $2,000 or something like that, and whatever you feel like your store's best product is, you give out free samples to people. Kind of a welcome to the store. You can come here. Here's this. You want to do something where you make an impression. And if you do a grander opening like that, that's going to help. Versus just doing an opening and not having anything for the customer besides something to look at. We can do other things as well. Hey, Regina. So that's something, I've thought about that. I've thought about opening a store. What would I do? What would be the thing that I would do? And I would open a holistic store. I would open something like that. Now, got to keep taking breaths here. Now, another thing you can do is you can open up an Etsy shop. If you feel like you can create things and you can sell stuff, you can open up an Etsy shop and you can do something there as well. So there's a lot of different options you can go into here. But the primary one is you start with a concept, an idea, and then you kind of run with it. You kind of see what's going on. What would be the name of the nutritional store? What would you call it, right? Nutritional East, right? Instead of nutritional yeast, you could go with that. Or, there's a lot of things that you can do. But primarily getting the ideas flowing, getting things going. If there's inspiration there, and where there's a nutrition store, where there's talking about opening a business, it feels like there's inspiration, but it's hiding behind insecurity and doubt, which is fine. I understand why it would be hiding behind that. But like I said, we can either be uncomfortable and try something new and the whole time be questioning it, or we could stay in a situation where we are no longer feeling like we're welcome in that situation, vis-a-vis the job situation. Hopefully I used vis-a-vis correctly. It sounded really smart, and the architect in the Matrix uses it. So, hopefully that made sense how I used it. But, so D, is what I'm saying, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because I can't bend over. I'm getting old, and I can't pick it back up myself, so. How's it going, Regina? Oh, man. Okay, perfect. There you go, trial and error. Perfect. And also, you guys, let me give you some tips, okay? Hold on, D, hold on, I'm not done. Let me give you some tips that can help you. So do this. I'm pretty sure it's still the same way. I'll show you something here that can help. Okay. Look at this right here. Of course, Regina, I'm going to ask. So D, right there, are you still here, D? I hope you are. That link that I just sent you right there, that takes you to the trends page on Google. So what that means is anything that you guys type in, you can see if it's popular, if it's not popular, when it's popular. You can look at things. You could literally have a nutrition store. You guys could sell different seasonal things. You could see when things come in season, and you could sell them at the store. Or you can see when people are looking up different kinds of things. Use that trends map, and you can look up YouTube videos on how to use it effectively to start marketing. But that can help you guys tremendously because it talks about the whole population. Everyone looking up stuff. When is this popular? When wasn't it popular? You can type in names. You can type in products. You can do a bunch of different stuff with that tool. And that's just one of them. If you guys are wanting to start a business and get into that, the best thing you can do is understand trends. Understand how that works, how people are thinking. Okay? And to me, it's fun. To me, this kind of stuff is fun. I'm a nerd. I don't do it as much as I would like to, but one day. So if you guys appreciate that, then hopefully that helps. But that can help you start something. And it can help you with looking at online products too. Products that are sold mainly online. You can see the products that are popular on Amazon, and you can stock them in your store. You guys, the whole thing that you want to do is you want to get popular products in front of people that don't necessarily understand what they're looking for. The popular products usually have packaging that is designed to sell those products, and you just need to learn how to place things, what to do. But again, all of that comes with time, and I do feel like you guys can do that. I'll tell you right here where I live, we have a health food store, and it's absolutely dilapidated, and it's kind of gross in there, and it smells weird. And people still go in there and they shop, and that store's doing well. So if you guys went into a space, you guys were trying something, I do feel like people would resonate with it. If you're doing a nutrition store, also, another thing you can do is look into, and D, I'm probably talking too much. Are you still wanting a little more advice here? I don't want to railroad you with so much information. I basically got one last thing that can help. Because there's a couple ways businesses can make money where they're not selling really anything. And I can talk about that for a second. I'm just going to take a drink here. Okay, Amber, I'm going to add you to the list here. Let me do that. Let me go to here. Okay. Thank you, Amber, for the donation. Okay. All right, D, are you still there? If not, that's okay. I'll continue talking because I'm good at that. Another thing you can do if you're running a business, a way that you can make money that doesn't really have you doing anything is you can rent out the space in your store when you're not using it, when you're closed. You can rent it out for it to be something else. So if you have a venue that has some empty spots, you can rent it out. People can do yoga, early in the morning before you guys open your store. That can be another way that you can make money. Another way is you can do conferences, you can do different things there where people come in. If it's a bigger building, there's a lot of ways you can make money, but you also want to market the store in similar avenues where customers can come in and they can see what's going on. So for instance, you have a nutrition store, so you could market spiritual things as well, or people that teach spiritual things, and then in turn those people can refer their clients to you as well. So there's like a symbiotic relationship when it comes to businesses, and if businesses are helping businesses, that's going to help them succeed. But again, this is my 2 cents. Hopefully that helps you. And yeah. Okay, so Casey Miss 7, are you there? Or Cassie Miss 7. Casey Miss 7, Cassie Miss 7. I'm just going to keep asking. You did donate some money and then you kind of just disappeared. So are you there, my friend? Okay, she is not there, at least not yet. So, Amber, would you want to ask your question, my friend? This is why I do Cash App and PayPal only, because, like I said, I can give you I can give you your money back if for some reason you guys aren't able to come on. Super chats are great, they really are, but I cannot give your money back. I don't know how to refund. Okay, type away, Amber. I'll be right back. Gotta go to the bathroom again. I'll be back. Hey, Patricia Leslie. Thank you, my friend. Um, I'd hate to be that person, but I'm going to do this here just because. So, generally speaking, it's one question for 10, and then 3 questions for 25. I do appreciate the money, though, but Australian dollars. Hold on, let me see. Probably doing this wrong. And Regina, where is the link to pay for? Um, the link to pay for what? Exactly, Regina. Just so I'm clear, I'm just gonna. Yeah, because so I can put you on the list, Patricia, but it'll be another. Let's see, you did $5. You don't need to do another 5. If you did another $3, then we can address your question. You would be after Amber. Or not that. Okay, so right here, Regina. So we've got Cash App. If you have Cash App or if you have PayPal, you can do either one of these. If for some reason you can't do that, I guess for tonight we can do like one question. Okay, so you can either do it through PayPal, which is right here, and you can see my name right there. That's where you send the PayPal money to. Cash App is right here. If it's better for you to do ads or to do super chat, we can accept it tonight if you want to do that. It'd be $10 through super chat as well if that works for you. But if not, there is Cash App and PayPal. Oh, Liz has my PayPal link right there. Okay, try that. That should direct you right to the link. Give that a try. If that doesn't work, come back and say it didn't work. Okay, my friend, we can go from there. So, all right, Amber. Sorry about that. I'll get to your question here. So Amber says, I don't mean to dwell on negativity, but a lot of past memories have been surfacing for me. Will the people that wronged me receive any karma? Are they sorry? Okay. So I'm going to say this the best way I can so that we can understand this, Amber. The first question I'm going to address is this right here. When a person, when a person hurts us the way that we're talking about right here, when they hurt us, they stab us in the back, they betray us, or they act in a way that is not in accordance with our, hold on, I'm going to turn this off. They act in a way that is not in accordance with our best interest at heart, okay? When this happens, that's on them. That's on their ability to not be able to do that for us, to not be that person that's supportive or kind. Do they have emotions? Do they feel sorry the way we would feel sorry? No. Otherwise, they would not do what they're doing. For instance, Amber, as a for instance, and you're not dwelling on negativity, okay? Just so we're making that clear. You're asking a question, you're wondering about something. So please don't think you're dwelling. You're just curious. We can move on from that, okay? So when we're talking about the way these narcissistic people have that self-fulfilling, self-aggrandizing agenda, when we're talking about that kind of energy, you would never act that way, correct? You would never hurt someone in these kinds of ways. In fact, you would go out of your way to make sure that there would be no misunderstanding. you would make sure that people would understand where you were coming from. These people are not like that. Because you're a good person, you think other people are also good people. And sometimes other people are shitty people. It has nothing to do with you, it has everything to do with them. And they don't feel emotion the same way we feel it because they wouldn't do it. If you did something the way they did it, you would feel an aching, guilty conscience for a very long time, if not the rest of your life. You would feel like a horrible person, and it would eat at you, okay? These people, doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother them like that. They're not in touch with their emotions. These are very negative people, and they don't feel bad for what they did. Now, that's how I feel about that. That's, honestly, it helps me to separate myself from those kinds of people. They don't care about anything else other than themselves. So do they feel sorry? No, I don't. I do not feel that they do. That does not mean that what they did wasn't wrong, though. They just don't give a shit. They just don't care about who they hurt, and they're not nice people, right? Is there karma for those people? I do believe there is. I heard something somewhere where in the spirit world, supposedly, right, if karma doesn't hit them in this life, eventually death takes us all. It sounds grim, I know. But if karma doesn't hit them in this life, I do believe that when they're doing what's called, right, and I don't know what happens when we die. I have no idea. But there's something some people believe in called a life review. And the life review is where you get to live your life through the eyes of other people. So what happens is that the spirit sees how they affected other people, and then they get to follow those other people and see how their emotions affected them, and they get to feel whatever it was you were feeling amplified tremendously. They get to feel their actions reflected back on them tremendously. And so I do believe that these people leading the very shitty lives that they do, I do believe that there's karma. If not in this life, then there will be something waiting for them on the other side. I don't think you get to just do whatever the hell you want, and there's no consequence. And I hope that helps to answer that question, Amber, because I don't want you to think you're such a good person. You're such a kind-hearted person. I don't want you to think that these people did anything in a way to... It feels like it was targeted towards you because it was personal and it hurt you in a personal way, but I have a feeling they would screw anybody over that they could. It's not just you. You were there when this was happening and you were a target, but it's not just you. I feel like these people have done this many, many times to many, many people. And they're, like I said, they're just shitty people. So that's kind of how I feel about that. Amber, does that make sense? Does that offer any kind of solace in this time for you? Just my power charger. I'm putting it up here. Right there. And now I'm going to clean my laptop here. All right, let's light the incense here. Hold on 1 second and I'll address everything. Just gonna light this incense. So you feel you've helped them in some way they're out there living their best life. Okay. You've literally prayed for people to better their circumstances. I'm sure you have. Amber, you're a good person. You're someone who does that. The reason why we're talking about taking stuff back now and we're talking about self-actualization is so that you're no longer going to be there for people who are just going to use you and treat you like shit. You're going to be there for people and you're going to be there for yourself. You're going to show up for yourself. And what happened in the past is in the past. When we know better, we can do better, right? And we're starting to understand what knowing better and doing better for ourselves is. These other people, they don't get it and they never will. They may live a good life, they may live a charmed, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. These are people that are emotionally hollow. These people are hollow, okay? They get to, I mean, kind of think of it like this. The way I think of these kinds of people is, okay, you have $1 billion, right? You have $1 billion, but you're on a deserted island and there's no economy. You still have $1 billion. Doesn't do you any good though, does it? Doesn't help you in any way, doesn't get you anything, because you're in a situation where you no longer can buy anything because there's nothing to be sold. And a lot of times, these people, it may not come in this life in the way that we're thinking, but I do believe there's karma on the other side. And we get to have the experience of knowing that we're trying to do the best we can in our life. We're not trying to hurt people. We're not trying to bring people down. And these other people may take advantage of that. It doesn't mean what they're doing is better or right. But I do believe that it's kind of a for whom the bell tolls situation. So when it's their time, I do believe there will be a recompense. There will be some sort of equalizer that comes along that helps to show these people what's going on, because I truly do believe each one of us is a soul. We're a spirit inhabiting a body, and some of us just shut off our spiritual side, our emotional side, everything. And when we have died, I believe we come back to our senses and we're like, wow, I was really shitty. I was not a good person. I could have done this better, right? But, and I'll say this, I'll reiterate it one more time. Just because it seems like things are going well in their life, that does not mean that these people are not in a constant state of hell. They may have an outward appearance, or they may seem like they're put together, or they may act like something, but there's something deeply, deeply wrong and seated in these people, and it's going to be a scratch that they can never itch. It's going to be this torturous thing, and they're going to be people that are always going to be quick to anger. They're going to be people that are always going to be jealous over stupid shit. They're going to be people that are envious over everything. These are people that no matter how much you give them, they're always, always, always going to want 1,000 times more. They're never going to be satisfied. And because of that, like I said, it is like an itch in the back of your brain that you cannot scratch. And these people have to live with that for the rest of their lives. And eventually, as they get older, their circumstances, things coming for them, they're not going to have a good life when they get older either, because these people tend to be loners eventually. They won't have friends. They won't have anyone around them as they grow old. And they're just going to be bitter, miserable people. So again, they may not be feeling the circumstances necessarily right now, but I do feel like there's a special kind of hellish scenario for them that sort of happens. They're so worried about not being successful or not having this or not having that, that they don't see that old age creeps in no matter what. And that, again, you're always quick to jump to emotions. You're always that person that's immediately defensive. You're always angry. Your mood can shift in a second, and you're always manipulating people to get what you want. You'll never know what love feels like. You'll never know what true happiness could feel like, because you blocked yourself off from the emotions. So hopefully that helps. And thank you, Molly. I appreciate that. It does feel like we're getting shit on. It does feel like we're getting shit on and there's no repercussions, but there's an even bigger shit waiting to hit them. And I'm just saying right now that focus, the best kind of revenge that we can have with people like this is to allow ourselves to do better and not go down to their level. Not saying you are, Amber, but I am saying that allow yourself to do better. Allow yourself, even in spite of how these people tried to tear you down, be that quiet resilience that keeps standing back up and says, you know what? No, you don't get to say how my story ends. You don't get to be that person. I get to be that person. It went through PayPal. Okay, let me see here. Yes, it did. Perfect. Okay. Let me put you on the list. Thank you so much, Regina. I'll put you on the list here. So tell me what you thought of that, Amber. Tell me kind of what's going through your head. Obviously, you're a part of this conversation, so I want you to feel like this is a safe space to talk, to be open. And you're very welcome, Regina. I'm going to try addressing Patricia next, just saying I need a little bit more in the super chat, right? So I need about 3 more of those Australian dollars in the super chat, and then we can address your question. Just because my rates are $10 for one question, and when we do super chats, I only get to see $7 of that 10, so I don't even get the full $10. I get about $7 from that. So they take 30%. It's a ridiculous amount to take. That's another reason why I do this. But also so I can give refunds and stuff like that too. But 30% is ridiculous. Or not Richie, or Patricia. Patricia was what I was saying. So if Patricia is there, yeah. Just need that extra little bit and we can address your question. Okay, so Amber, let's address that. Let's address the parts of that. Thank you. I randomly worry that I'll never get back the energy they drained from me. Then I get frustrated with myself. So generally what tends to happen is when we're frustrated with ourselves, we tend to get more and more frustrated with ourselves, and then we get frustrated at the fact that we're getting frustrated with ourselves, right? And we're learning now, when we know better, we can do better. We're learning that lesson right now. So I'll say this, treat yourself. Eventually, Amber, those videos that I tell you to watch, Patrick T. Hahn, Lisa Romano, there's so many, and I'm just drawing a blank. There's a lot of people that talk about it, and when we know better, we can do better. And we need to break that cycle of frustration with being gentle with ourselves. We need to say, it's okay, I didn't know. I'm learning now. I'm trying to understand things now. I want you to say that to yourself. I'm trying to do better now. What happened in the past is in the past, and there was life lessons that we learned. Okay, that was not for nothing. We learned life lessons. We had life experiences. That's the whole reason we're here. We didn't do it wrong, but now we're going to live life in the way that we want to live life, and it's going to be more of a conscious effort on our parts, and that's a beautiful thing. But you did not do anything wrong. You did not live your life in a wrong way. You didn't do anything bad. You're just living. and you had experiences. There's experiences we would list as being, quote unquote negative because they're not fun to go through. But now we get to guide life and have our own experiences because we're learning how we can do that. We're learning what people, could and could not do, and so that we can do better with our own sense of judgment in the future. And those videos, primarily the ones that talk about narcissistic abuse, that talk about the traits, those videos are there to help us understand what those people look like, how they act, what they do, so that we don't keep putting ourselves in those same situations. It's not to rub it in. It's not to hurt our own feelings over and over again and think, God, I was so stupid for doing that in the first place. No, that's not the point at all, because you weren't stupid. We didn't know. We didn't understand what was going on. And we're not taught this. We are not taught this growing up. We're not taught this in school. We are not taught this in any way that makes sense. Unless we study psychology or unless we do something else, we are not taught these lessons. And so we have to learn the hard way. And a lot of times, the hard way is vague and it's ambiguous and we don't know what's going on. And so now we can take those tools. Now we can learn, we can understand, and we can do better with what we have. But, I just don't want you to be too hard on yourself, because there's no reason to. And if you find yourself being too hard on yourself and you get upset with yourself for being too hard on yourself, gentleness. Always gentleness. Okay? We don't want to spiral. We want to focus on gentle. Okay. Does that help, Amber? And if this helps you in any way, Amber, you said I gave my energy and I don't know if I'll ever get it back. If we imagine your energy as an ocean, and you gave them the equivalent of several buckets of your ocean, there's still an ocean out there. There's still your energy out there. There's so many parts of it that they didn't even come close to touching, and it regenerates each day. So allow yourself that time to understand that you are a very, very deep, deep, deep ocean. And all they did was take a few buckets of water, okay? Instead of chasing down these people and thinking, I want that water back, realize what we already have. We have tons of water still there. We have tons of stuff still there. And I want you to remember that moving forward, okay? And you're very, very welcome, Amber. You're a beautiful person. I just want you to know that I know it's hard. I know this is a difficult time, but you're doing it. You're doing really good, okay? All right. Okay, so Patricia, are you there? Okay, all right. It was Patricia. She paid a little while ago, Regina, but I don't know where she is now. I was going to have her pay a little bit more because my rates are $10, right? So I got a delicious meal waiting for me after my live, so I'm very excited. Thank you, my beautiful girlfriend, Elena. You're awesome, my dear. Okay, so Regina, if you would want to ask your question, my friend, please go for it, because I'm not getting a hold of Patricia or Casey or Cassie or... Yeah, so ask your question, Regina, if you would not mind. Okay, you want to know if Oliver ever had a crush or feelings for me. Okay, okay. Let's do that, my friend. Let's see what we can do here. So we'll use the energy oracle here. We'll see what we can get. So Regina is wondering if Oliver ever had a crush or feelings for her. Let's keep doing this here. Did Oliver ever have a crush or feelings for Regina? Okay. So I get community right here. Healer of the Ages in reverse. An Angel of Love right here. So I'm going to address these the best way I can, and I'm just going to ask some questions here. So did you meet Oliver? Was Oliver a work acquaintance, or did he work at the same place you worked at, or was this like you met them through a mutual friend? I'm just curious here because when I see the community card, to me it feels like we either met them at an event or they were in our lives in some way, maybe through a friend or maybe through work. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. Okay, your son's school. All right. So it wasn't through work, but it was through son's school. It was through some sort of third party thing where it's not like we just met them. It was through a different kind of process. Okay. When I see Healer of the Ages in reverse and then Angel of Love, I'm wondering if with this Oliver person, did you feel like in your connections with Oliver or in your conversations with Oliver, did you feel like you were the one that had to kind of start the conversations or guide the conversations? When I see Healer of the Ages, I'm wondering if maybe we were the person that went in and we started stuff, or we tried to open the gates of conversation with this person. Because we have the Angel of Love right here too, and so it makes me think here. Well, I'll wait until you've typed that one. I do like to ask questions because I feel like we can get places with questions. No, he was just starting and flirting too much. Okay, so okay, you want to know if he ever had a crush or feelings for you. Right there's the flirting, right? That's obviously a sign. And also we did get the Angel of Love right here. So can I ask you, Regina, did something block the connection between you two? What happened? What sort of happened for there not to be? Because I assume something must have happened. He is the security of the school. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. So are you wondering if maybe he was like that with other people, and so you don't know if it was necessarily directed towards you? It makes sense because the community card here, Healer of the Ages in reverse and Angel of Love. So it does feel like there could have been something. But let me draw some more cards here, so hold on a second. So let's shuffle these cards. Let's see. You felt a strong connection. Okay, okay. You just want to know if he felt something too, so I can understand that. Let's look. Let's do a little bit more looking. A little looky-loo for us, right? Okay. Let's see what we can get here for you, Regina. So underneath the Angel of Love, I get the World card. So I'm definitely feeling like there's a connection. This is the World card right to that one. That one's the World card. So I get the feeling there was a connection here that was more than just, you know, kind of like Transformers, more than meets the eye. I do feel like there was a connection here. It does feel tenuous, though. It feels like a tender connection. The reason I say that is I get the Nine of Swords in reverse, and then I get the Nine of Cups in reverse on Community. So on the Community card, I get the Nine of Cups. So we have a Bob Ross looking guy. It's kind of hard to see. Okay. It's in reverse, though, and normally the Nine of Cups is a very happy card. When I see it in the Community card and it's flipped upside down, it's making me feel like there could have been something going on with this person maybe when you met them. So they could have been going through a hard time when you met them. So I do feel like there's something here, though. Nine of Swords in reverse on Healer of the Ages in reverse. These are the two cards I'm wondering about, Regina, because I see these two right here, Healer of the Ages in reverse and Nine of Swords in reverse. Nine of Swords is a card that generally deals with anxiety. It's the mental state. It deals with a lot of anxiety, insomnia. It's generally never depicted as a good card in the tarot. However, in reverse, I'm tending to think that this person or you were coming out of a situation. Maybe mentally, it feels like there was something going on here. When I see this going on, either you or him, or maybe both, were going through a very difficult situation at the time that you met. There's a strong connection here. I am feeling like there is a connection, especially Angel of Love, the World card. It does feel like there's something going on here, but the person that we're connecting to does feel like they flirt, they're doing that. It does feel like there's a sense of this person being guarded, though. I don't know what was happening in their life, but we can also look at body language. And we can look at how this person was talking to you. Did the person share personal details about themselves? That's one way we can know. Was there a touch on the shoulder, or was there anything like that? If there's a lot of physical touch, that's a good sign that they're into you. The flirting is a good sign too, obviously, but there's other ways we can tell. How does the person stand when they're talking to you? Are they, are they enthusiastic? Are they happy to see you? Do they ask you questions? Do they remember the answers to your questions? That kind of thing. That way you can know if they're into you. If they're asking you questions and you're asking them questions and it keeps going back and forth, there's a sign that the person is into you because they want to know what's going on with you. So what do you think of this reading here, Regina? I'll wait. I can hear what you have to say. I feel like I've been talking for a minute, so you go right ahead, my friend. Have to go pee one more time. Right. So there's a tendency to hold on, to have that kind of thing. Well, if it's been a year, right? If it's been a year and it's not exactly a situation that we can easily go back to, right? And especially if they're married, which I wasn't feeling like they were, but I mean they could have been, right? It felt like at that point in time when you two met, it didn't feel like there was anything that was going to happen, right? Nothing ever happened, but he would always try to touch your hand. Okay, so that right there is a good sign, right? If we're looking at hand touching, if we're looking at that, when I'm talking to somebody anywhere, okay, I don't touch them unless I like them. That's generally how that goes. I don't touch somebody unless I'm into them, especially when it's like touching the hand is, to me, it feels much more personal than touching the shoulder, which if I feel like if you're insecurity or if you're doing something, touching the shoulder and saying, okay, come on, or doing something like that, that touching the hand shows that there could be something there. Absolutely. So I'm feeling like there was a connection here. Let me do this though. But if Regina, if this is not a connection that can be reciprocated for whatever reason, this, that, or the other, there is a way we can make it so they're out of our mind. If they're on our mind, if they're kind of haunting our thoughts, there's things we can do to make it so that that's not the case. If that's something you're interested in doing, we could do that. We can explain that. We can explain that. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go to the bathroom again. When I come back, we'll do some more talking. I'm not done with your reading. I'm going to leave for 1 second. I'll be right back. So give me just a second. I have to go to the bathroom. I'm coming back, so hold on. Okay, Regina, I'm back. So let's talk about this, my friend. All right. So maybe with this person, maybe the reason we feel so strongly is when this person was flirting with us or when they were around us, maybe we felt heard and we felt seen and we felt validated. Maybe this person, we admired how they saw us through their eyes. And so maybe we kind of fell in love with that aspect. We fell in love with that thought, right? We'll address a couple things, a couple kind of scenarios here. One second, guys. But that's one of the scenarios. The other one could be that, I do believe there can be people that have, psychic intentions, and sometimes we have obsessive thoughts about people because psychically they're thinking about us too, and there can be a connection there. But if for some reason, shape, or form it's not able to happen, at least not right now, and it's something that keeps happening, it's something that keeps coming in, we can literally cut the energetic cord. You just imagine a cord connecting you and him together, and you cut it, and you keep imagining, you keep cutting it, because at first it's going to feel kind of foreign, it's going to feel weird. And when we cut the cord energetically through our imagination, I know it sounds kind of hoo-hoo and up there, but through the imagination, that's how psychic ability works. When we cut the cord with our imagination, we're putting out an intention, we're doing kind of a ritual, and we're getting rid of what no longer can be in our path or what no longer can serve us. And we're saying, in that scenario, that this person, they can't be with us on our life's journey at this point in time right now, and thinking about them only makes us feel distracted, right? So that's something we can do. That's something we can do moving forward, is that we can focus on allowing ourselves to sort of settle into the fact that this person at this point in time isn't able to be in our lives. And so thinking about them doesn't necessarily help us. Maybe it's a fun distraction sometimes, but where it's coming from you being obsessed with this person and you not wanting that, then to me it sounds like we need to cut the cord, which, like I said, energetically you imagine a cord between you and another person and you cut it. And you can do that over and over again. And you can just, every time you do it, it might feel weird, it might feel foreign at first, but you're not abandoning anybody, and you're sure as hell not hurting him by doing this. You're just saying, mentally, I don't want to think about this person. I don't want to have these thoughts. I don't want to be in this situation because I can't do anything about it. And neither can the other person at this point in time. So we get rid of those thoughts, but we have to cut them out, right? And what that could mean on your end, Regina, if this helps you, is if you know, right. So if you know the person's first and full name, you know everything like that. If you could block them on all forms of social media, that's going to help eliminate the connection as well. A lot of people think it's just a psychic connection. There can be social connections too, through social media, through different avenues. And if we cut those off at the source as well, this may not feel good at first, Regina, doing this kind of stuff. It may not feel good at first. Eventually, though, you start to feel okay doing this, and it gets easier. Each and every day that we're doing this, it does get easier, and eventually they're not in our thoughts at all. So it just takes time, and that's something that I feel like is important for us to sort of look at when we're moving forward. Do you feel like that helped to answer that question, Regina? Okay, you don't have no social media. Okay, understand. I'm just bringing that up as an example because that can be a way that maybe we peak on social media, maybe we do things like that. So I'm just putting that out there. But regardless, doing the psychic exercise of cutting the person off, doing that kind of stuff, that's going to help you. That's going to help you move forward. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully that gave you some insight. And you should start feeling better. I'd say doing the energy exercise, you imagine a cord connecting both of you and then you cut it, okay? Imagine it in as much detail as you can, and then you cut it like an umbilical cord. You're cutting it. You're getting rid of it. And I want you to be able to do that. And in a few, I would say a couple weeks, few weeks, you should feel better. You should be feeling a lot better, and you shouldn't be feeling a pull as much towards this person. So, okay, perfect. I'm glad it makes sense. I'm glad that makes sense. And for anyone that's watching this, if you guys have any physical pains, for a little fee, we can do some energy healing too. So if anyone's having some physical pain, I'll charge $10 for about 5 to 10 minutes of energy connection, and we can do some energy work that way to help you with the physical pain, if there is any physical pain. I'm just putting that out there so that you guys have options. It's not just $10 for a question. We can do some energy work too. Okay, so with that one, if anyone's watching now, so it's $10 a question. Or you can go on my Patreon and sign up $5 a month, and then it's $7 a question for every question you have, as long as you're a member on Patreon. But whoever wants to go next, you guys can come up and you guys can go. If Casey or Patricia is here, we can go from there as well. Okay, all right. Let me put this up here. You are very welcome, Regina. Very, very welcome, my friend. Have an awesome evening. Take care. Or have an awesome day. I don't know what time it is where you're at. For me, it's evening time, but you have a good one, my friend, okay? Let me have this one. Okay, so with that being said, you guys, seems like no one else has a question, at least for right now. So we'll just kind of hang out here. We'll do some talking, get some things going here, kind of raise the energy, so to speak. So we got a new person signed up to the class, which is good. Our psychic and our mediumship development class that we're going to be doing. I'm thinking it's going to be this month, or it's going to be October. Again, I'm going to be talking with my mentor here in a little while. He's kind of hard to get a hold of sometimes. So I'll be talking with him. I will nail down a date when I talk with him. So in the next couple weeks, I should be nailing down a date. And we'll have it ready to go. We'll get everything set up. And then all you guys have to do is just come up, be ready to come into the classroom. It's a Zoom class, so it's an online class. Come in, just be ready to learn, be curious, allow yourselves that kind of open energy that's good for psychic ability. When we open up, a lot of things can happen. So allow yourselves to be open, allow yourselves to be in that flow state. And that's all you're going to need to do, honestly. We're getting people interested, we're getting people signed up, so hopefully we can get things going. Unfortunately, and I have to say this part, we're probably not going to be doing those classes on, I'm not going to be posting YouTube videos of the classes, simply because you guys are doing partner exercises, you guys are doing a bunch of other things. And so I'm not going to be posting those online, but we will be, if it goes well, I'm hoping that we're going to be doing more and more classes and expanding on material and getting you guys everything you could possibly want to know about psychic development, mediumship development, energy healing, some astral projection, remote viewing, different things like that. So hopefully that's something you guys are interested in. Any kind of spiritual development I think is amazing. So I will hope to see you guys there when we do get those classes started. So yeah. Okay. All right, so I'll say this one more time here. Casey Miss 7, or Cassie Miss 7, or Patricia, are you guys there? Okay. All right, they are not there. Hold on one second here. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about sort of what I feel like it means to be a psychic or a medium or a tarot reader, and kind of the implicit or the inherent responsibilities that come with that kind of role. There is no certification that, it's not like being a therapist or being a doctor, right? You don't get a certification. You can go to certain places to learn psychic ability and you can get a stamp of approval, sure, but there's no universal certification that says you went through psychic training, you can hang it on your wall and you have a doctorate in psychic ability. It's not, be awesome. That would be awesome, but no, we don't have that, at least not right now. And so when we're talking about psychic ability, what are the rules? What are the kinds of things we can go with? Because psychic ability is about a few things, but one of them being respect for the other person, me, the psychic, you're the sitter, you're the client, right? I have to have respect for you in order for you to feel like you can open up to me, be vulnerable with me, and we can discuss whatever it is we need to discuss. That's going to be the important thing moving forward. If you don't feel comfortable with me, you're not going to feel comfortable with letting me see your energy, with letting me experience you, right? Because there's a tendency for people to close up, especially if they're with someone that they are not compatible with in a spiritual way. Like, if you're reading for somebody, but they're very closed off, or they don't believe in psychics, or they're not open to the idea of it, it's going to be hard to give that person a reading because they're not giving you the energy. They're not opening themselves up for a connection. Now, with that being said, we can focus more on, I'm going to just crack my neck here. We can focus more on the responsibilities of being a medium. So the responsibilities are that you want to lift people up. You want people, even if they're having a bad situation or a bad time, you want to be able to lift them up and to help them to feel better. I'm working on that. I'm trying to understand what it means to be a psychic or a medium. But a lot of the stuff when we're developing as psychics or mediums, besides books, a lot of it is self-taught. And a lot of the directions we go in are kind of self-imposed. So it's sort of like learning from yourself, your spirit team, hoping you're doing it right, hoping you're getting things going. Again, there is no certification. There is nothing out there like that. So it's my responsibility, my kind of job, my honor to be able to help you guys through situations that are tough, because I feel like that's something good that we can do. And it's not just me. There's other psychics, there's other mediums, tarot readers, dream analysis healers that are out there. But the one thing we can do as psychics and as mediums is to give a person a feeling of validation in their life. Sometimes when people come to a psychic or a medium, hey there, I'm horrible at pronouncing names. Hello, my friend. I'm just going to call you AV. How are you doing? I love your name. I wouldn't be able to pronounce it, but yeah, and so call. Oh, good. I'm glad you're doing well. And so there are those responsibilities of doing mediumship, of understanding the more spiritual world, right? AK. All right, I'll call you AK. I'm doing good, AK. I'm just talking about psychic development. I'm going to be doing a class in the future, and I'm just talking about psychic development and how we can develop as psychics and as mediums and the responsibilities of that. And there's actually quite a few responsibilities to maintain when we're focusing on developing as a psychic or a medium or tarot reader or whatever it is we're happening to do, or energy healer for that matter. And some of those are not exactly, it's just like any other job, right? One of the things that I feel like is interesting is, are you into spiritual development, AK? Or into the psychic or mediumistic world of spirituality? Yeah, so it's a, like I said, awesome, AK, perfect. Okay, hey Angela, how are you doing, my friend? Okay, so an aspiring light worker, love that, my friend. So I'll just talk about this stuff, and maybe it'll make sense, maybe it won't. I am open to questions as well, so it's $10 a question. That's how much I charge for a question, but I generally spend more time and I dive deeper into the questions. You guys will see how I work. I'm very, very detailed, and I try to give it as much information as I can. So, but as we're developing psychic abilities, or as we're working as mediums, the one thing we want to do, like I was talking about before, is we want to leave a person feeling better talking with us than they felt before. We kind of want to leave them feeling lighter, you know? And a medium's job, or a psychic's job, is to help a person express their story. And to help that person express their story and to validate their story. Some people who come to psychics or mediums, they've never had their story validated. They've never had someone see them. They've never had someone go in there and see what's going on. And I'm still learning to do that myself. And I feel like it's something I'm going to be learning to do until the day I die, because there's different ways you can do so many different things in the psychic and in the mediumistic world. But there's a few things to keep in mind. One of them is to always have a tone of respect and comfort for the sitter, right? So the sitter is the person that you have, the client, right? So the client is the person, let's say they're in front of me and I'm doing a reading for that person. You want to make them feel comfortable. You want to make them feel like they can approach you and talk to you about things. And you want to make them feel like they're in a place where they're not going to be judged for anything that they say or anything that they do. You want them to feel like it's a safe space, okay? As a light worker, no matter what it is we're doing, if we're doing energy healing, we're doing psychic work, mediumistic work, astrology, it doesn't matter what it is. When we're working with people, giving that tone of respect to a person, letting them know they're in a safe space, that's going to help you to get that going, right? The other thing that you can do that really helps people, I'm unable to do so because of some constraints, but I agree. Also, I think we need things from their perspective, not to force ours. There you go, AK, perfect, perfectly worded. I understand that, yes, we want to understand their world. We don't want to force our perspective onto them, or we don't want to come with them with our own biases and try to put them on somebody else. So being as unbiased as possible and letting people express their truth without trying to color it with our own colors, that's going to be something that's huge. If their truth is pink, We sure as hell aren't going to make it purple, because that's us doing something for us. That's us trying to satisfy our own ego. That doesn't help the person. Now, so with this kind of energy, with this kind of exchange that we're talking about here, like I said, healers, mediums, psychics, anyone in that realm, you give respect, you give an openness to a forum of speaking, right? You make it so the person doesn't feel judged. You try and work on everything you can. And on this journey of being a light worker of any kind, we have to realize that the road to self-improvement is something we'll never get off of. We have to keep reaching for self-improvement. We have to keep reaching for ways to understand ourselves better so that we can focus on helping people in a better way. As soon as we stop growing and we think we know everything, we're done on the spiritual journey. We're completely done, and nothing can change that. We need to remain humble and realize that even though we're giving messages and we're able to do something for people and we're able to give evidential messages for people, that's not the end all be all. You can give evidential messages, that's great, that's awesome, but you also need to be someone who's a person, who's there for people, and who keeps continuing to grow. I believe that as we continue to grow and improve, our open mind is very important, absolutely. And I believe that as we continue to grow and as we continue to improve ourselves, that things become like spirits can get to us easier. Spirits can understand us easier. We can understand them easier. And we go into a process when we're working with spirits. It's called the blending process. The blending process is part of being a medium, right? So what that is that I raise my vibration. Vibration is an interesting word to use here, but I'll define what it means. I won't keep it vague. By saying I raise my vibration, you're like, what the hell's a vibration? How do you raise it? What is it? I'll explain. So when I say raising my vibration, what I'm talking about is I'm raising the frequency that I'm putting out in the world. How do we raise our frequency? What does that mean? So when we're focusing on mediumship, when we're focusing on psychic ability, the vibration that we're talking about, it can be a few things. We can be talking about love. That can raise the vibration, as hokey as it sounds. Love, appreciation, gratitude can absolutely raise the vibration for how we feel. Being open-minded allows us to have more access to love, gratitude, and appreciation, doesn't it? Because we're open-minded. When we're open-minded, we're not rigid thinkers. We're open to concepts. We're open to new ways of being. And when we have love, gratitude, and appreciation and acceptance, more and more information can come to us because we keep attracting situations in which we have more love, more gratitude, more appreciation. And so it goes along those lines. Now, if for some of us, love may be too hard of a thing for us to do at first. It may be somewhat difficult. So instead of focusing on love, we can focus on love's sister emotion. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that, my friend. Where was I? That was a very sweet message. So we have the sister emotion to love, appreciation, and gratitude. And you guys are probably thinking, okay, what would that be? So my mentor told me, had a hard time with that. He told me that curiosity is that other emotion. If we're curious about how someone passed on, or if we're curious about what's going on in this person's life when we're doing a psychic reading, if we are curious about something and we are open to the possibility of receiving information from that curiosity, that will enable us to get information as well. Being curious is a good thing. When we're curious, the universe says, okay, you're curious. Let's give you some more information because you are being curious. You are wondering what's going on, right? And so that's another emotion that we can have moving forward, okay? Now, that being said, we have to talk about the development of mediumship in a different way, or the development of spiritual abilities in a slightly different way here. So there is another factor that comes into that. So when I say love, appreciation, acceptance, gratitude, and then I say curiosity, you guys understand those emotions. I'm pretty sure we all understand those emotions. But there's other things that we need too when it comes to being a light worker, being a spiritual developed person. When it comes to doing this kind of stuff, there's other things too. And one of those is, hold on, my mind just went blank. Give me a minute, it'll come back. Okay, one of those is to be As weird as this sounds, one of those is to be courageously vulnerable. What that means is that we're not putting on fronts. We're not letting our ego guide the way. We're letting ourselves be emotionally vulnerable. We're letting ourselves be open. We're letting ourselves be a very tender, raw person. When we do mediumship, when we do that, the more open we are emotionally, the more we're able to give information, the more we're able to pass it through our bodies and give the information to people that need it. But we have to get used to the idea of being emotional, raw, and tender, and vulnerable. Because when we're doing readings for people, if someone comes to us, they've lost a loved one, okay? If we're guarded when they come to us, that doesn't help anything. We need to be vulnerable. We need to yes, brain fart, absolutely. But we need to be vulnerable. And because the other person's being vulnerable with us, so we need to meet them on that emotional level. That does not mean that if they start crying, we start crying, right? That just means that we're holding space for vulnerability. If we show ourselves as being vulnerable, as being human, they can show themselves as being vulnerable and being human. It creates an atmosphere where both people can learn and grow from each other, because it's that spiritual place, it's that center, that spiritual center that we're talking about. And when I talk about holding space for someone, I mean exactly that. I mean giving them a place, giving them an atmosphere. And we can do this with our energy, we can do this consciously with our thoughts, or we can do it with our body language, or use all of them together, right? When we're doing that, we're enabling the other person to relax. When a person is relaxed, they're open to receiving messages, and we can actually give them messages. A lot of times when I'm on this channel, I try to be funny anyway. I try to be that humorous person. One of the reasons why I do that, besides me being a sarcastic little shit, is because laughter raises the vibration. Laughter makes people feel at home. It makes people feel at ease. Laughter is something that helps people to feel calm and connected. And so that's why I use humor when I do I don't use humor when I'm doing a reading for someone that seems inappropriate, right? Especially given the questions sometimes that I get. I do not make fun of the person. I do not make them feel like this is stupid. Why are you worried about this? What's going on with you? But I use humor when I'm doing other things. When I'm not doing a reading for someone, when I'm doing other things, I try to bring humor into this so that people can feel relaxed, they can feel calm, and they can feel like this is a place that they can connect with. So that's one of the reasons why I use humor, if you guys are wondering. Also, it's fun. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun thing. But that's just one of the reasons. It all helps to bring in this kind of energy of, I'm safe, I feel comfortable, how can we move forward? What can we do moving forward to help this kind of situation along? So, so far, is everyone following what I'm saying? I just want to make sure. I don't want to railroad everyone. I can kind of talk for a while, so I just want to make sure everyone's understanding everything. And if you guys, and I'm serious about this, if you guys have a question that is wondering about spiritual development, you don't need to pay me anything. You do not need to pay me anything for those kinds of questions. You can just ask. I'm open to talking. I'm open to having a conversation. We can just talk. So I'm putting that out there as well. Gonna take another drink. And if you guys really like what I'm doing here, please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click that bell icon so you're notified when I go live. If you guys like what I do, I would appreciate a subscription. But yeah, primarily, that's what we're working with when we're talking about spiritual ability, and we're talking about that. And in those lessons alone, so much can be learned just from that. Just from setting an atmosphere and a space for a person to just relax in, and then doing that for ourselves to allow spirits to come and talk through us. That's kind of a big deal. That's a whole thing in itself, and that's a trust process as well. when we're talking about mediumship, we are talking about trusting. And for some of us, that's a difficult thing. For me, myself included, that's a difficult thing to be able to trust in the process because you don't see it, and we've been told many, many times in our lives that we need to see it. We have to see it, right? And with spirits, we don't. Not usually. Every now and again, I'll see something, but it's not the common thing for me to see stuff. Clairvoyantly, I might see something it's like that, but physically, I don't see. And some psychics do. Some mediums do see physically. And that sounds great. That's awesome. Good for you guys. That's a cool thing to be able to do. It doesn't mean you're any better or worse as a medium or a psychic if you can see things versus not seeing things. A lot of psychics and mediums actually want to be able to hear things instead because you can see something physically and not necessarily have it tell you a whole lot, right? Unless you know how to interpret the images, unless you know how to interpret the symbols, and that's what makes a great psychic, I do believe. But you could see something and just not quite get it. However, if you hear something, you can get some very detailed information from hearing something. Maybe you get someone's address, or maybe you get someone's name or someone's birthday, or you're wondering, who this person is, right? Who's Matthew? Who's Matthew? Kind of a thing. And that's a good thing to have too, when we can hear things. But eventually, the whole point of developing as a psychic or a medium is so that we can use all the tools in our toolkit. That includes clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, claircognizance, which is just having something pop in your head. You don't have an explanation for it. You just know something and it just kind of popped in your head. And it's not you thinking because it's a fully formed kind of message, but you didn't think it. You didn't think it into existence. It just sort of appeared in your head. And then you have clairaudience, which is clear hearing. And then you have clairgustance, which is tasting, and clairalience, which is smelling. So there's psychic counterparts to the physical, or physical counterparts to the psychic. I was reading a book once that said how the psychic senses were the original senses, and then the physical ones came along later as the counterpart to the psychic senses, which to me, that does sound right. I mean, I can ascribe to that. But yeah, so what are your guys' thoughts on all this? Okay. Okay, let's see here. Is anyone... Let me look at this really quick. Sorry, guys. I'm just doing something for a second. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I was just looking at something. Okay. We are good now. Well, almost. I gotta adjust this window. Okay, there we go. All right, I had to adjust my window and had to rearrange some stuff there. So, okay, so I'm ready to take questions or to have anything happen. If not, that's okay too. But the list is still open for right now. So if anyone wants to do a question, I'm not going to be keeping the list open for that much longer. Okay. Well, I'll just be on here. I can show you some art that I've done. Can't remember if I showed this one or not. Kind of neat, I think. Do a closer up look and just hold it further back. There we go. I love drawing flowers. That's kind of my thing. Let me look here and show some other stuff. Okay. There's this one too. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, buddy. We have this one. I do character art every now and again, and this one is sticky note. It's kind of cute, and there's a little pencil next to him. He's just living his best life. Be nice if the reminder for your things was written on your body, right? Like you just... We have one of my weirder creations. Some people will understand, some people won't. But here's this one. This is the pug flower. see here. We have this one. His name is Putty, and he has a little baby taped to his chest there. A little holder for him. Putty is a professional wrestler. He can kick your ass. He doesn't look like it, but he's a strong dude. Then I had this one I drew, kind of a different one. I had fun making that one. That one was a while ago. And we have Sherlock's Fox. Something kind of cute. Let's see what else we got here. So I can take a picture. Yeah, I'm thinking that's about it on the pictures. Okay, everybody, so if there's anyone there, they have a question, we can address it. One question, $10. We can do energy healing for $10. If not, I'm thinking if there's nobody here in the next 15 minutes that wants to do anything, I'm thinking I'm going to call it quits for the night. You know, so, and if you guys are there and you just want to talk about spiritual development, we can absolutely do that too. That won't cost anything. I just enjoy talking about that, so that's something that's fun. So, yeah, if you guys are into that, let me know. If not, I understand. Yeah, okay. I can show you a couple more. This one's my favorite that I did. I think that one's pretty nice. I had fun doing that one. I did that one a couple weeks ago. See what else I got here. Drew this one a little while ago. Got your pink or your purple colors here. Really nice. That was a nice one. I've got more obscure, like not obscure, but I've been working with shading certain objects, making them look nice, making them look more presented. This one here, it's like a gold ball, right? So gold, when it goes from gold and it goes into a darker reddish brown at the bottom. So I did that one, I shaded that. You can kind of see it, but the camera is not exactly showing it that well. It's kind of an interesting one. Not a lot of personality or anything with that. Something fun. This one's kind of like a, I don't know, just something fun. Something fun to look at there. Then there's this one, and this one, the camera might have a hard time seeing this one. No, it's actually doing pretty good. Let's see what else we got here. So if anyone's there, you guys have a question, please feel free to ask. If it's about spiritual development, it doesn't cost anything. If it's a question about anything else that relates to you personally, it'll be $10. We can also do energy healing if you're having any symptoms or any ailments, physically or emotionally, that we can work with. We can do that too. I did this one. This is one of my favorites. So it's kind of, it looks like an Adventure Time character. But I drew this one and I did the font, and I made the font myself and I did that. So it says Princess Doll. And then, you know, there's the dress, there's the, she doesn't have any hair, and I did the shadow and I did all that stuff. I had fun doing that one. That one was a fun one. This is a cool one. That one's pretty neat looking, I think. Let's see. We got ourselves a cracked ball with a smiley face. A logo for something that I was working on. Kind of fun, right? I don't know what it would be, but it's fun. I like doing logos for companies that don't exist. I'll see if I can find some other ones, you guys, and I can show you. We have a little moon friend here. He's a crescent moon. You can't see the differing shades of orange on the red, but let's see what else we got here. We have a very creepy lemon boy wearing a towel. Very creepy, very hollow dead eyes. That's always fun, right? Kind of some different colors in this one. Pretty cool. I did some pumpkins stacked on top of each other. They're like jack-o'-lanterns, kind of creepy, and so those were fun to do. Those were actually pretty fun. These are my interpretation of pixies. They've got the wings and the... Yeah, that was fun to do too. Honestly, that one was really fun. Did that around Christmas time. Last year, I believe. We have a sad pig man. Again, kind of that Adventure Time style. Kind of a weird little pig boy. I like to draw shiny, barbed objects. That's one of those little shiny barbed objects. Okay, well, is that all that's going on here? Is anyone wanting to ask a question? I can't tell who's on and who's not, so if anyone's out there, you guys have a question that's related to spiritual development, that one's free to talk about. But if it's a personal question that affects you personally and is an answer that only you would gain benefit from, then that would be $10 for that, for one question. Okay, guys. Okay, I think I'll call it good for the night, everybody. Have an awesome night. Everybody take care. And I will see you guys on Friday. Thank you again. You guys came out. You supported me beautifully. So I really appreciate that. And I will talk with you guys on Friday. Again, unless someone's there here in the next little bit. But if not, that's absolutely okay. I'll see you guys on Friday. So everybody take care. Good night. Sleep good. And if you're not going to bed, then wake up good. Wake up. Have a good day. Okay. See you guys.